All the ingredients are smoothed together. The dough from the pusut satay is glued and rolled into a long satay with wooden sticks as the support. What distinguishes pusut satay from other satay is how this satay is not grilled like satay should in general, but this one satay is fried until it is perfectly cooked. As a complement, pusut satay is served with sambal mata, which has a spicy taste. It's a wonderful moment if we can enjoy the food while relaxing and enjoying the day. Pusut satay is soft, has a juicy meat fibers, and Lombok's winning spices. When you feel spicy, black coffee imported directly from Lombok is the perfect companion to accompany snack this time.
Enak tenan. Bikin lagi, pedasnya bikin lagi.
Strategic location, making Ayam Taliwang Asad is a typical Lombok restaurant that stands alone at this location. For those of you who are hungry while on your way home or are in the Fatmawati area, can try to eat at Ayam Taliwang Asad.
Harapan saya semoga Ayam Taliwang Asad dikenal di berbagai untuk semua orang. Semoga semua orang mengenal Ayam Taliwang. Apalagi di saat sekarang kan banyak brand-brand luar nih yang masuk. Jadi kita berharap sih kuliner-kuliner lokal, kuliner autentik itu nggak hilang sih. Makanya di sini kita konsen untuk bersaing lah, dalam artian siap bersaing lah untuk brand-brand luar yang masuk gitu.
Traditional snacks will not be swallowed by time. No need to go far to Lombok. You can easily enjoy the taste of traditional food around you. Secret tasty dishes from Lombok.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, and happy Tuesday, everyone. Glad to be with you all to welcome in this brand new month. It is the 1st of November, 2022. It is just past 6 in the a.m. here in the nation's capital. And my name is Paul Palelli, greeting you from the See Today News Studios, where for the next 3 hours, we'll be delivering you all the latest news and updates from Indonesia, as well as around the world. We've got sports, entertainment, as well as a couple of talk shows that my colleague will tell you about momentarily. So without any further ado, let's say hello to them right now. The All-Stars. Hey, we got Caroline and Marissa. I haven't used that in a while.
I love that sports reference, the All-Stars. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Carol. And also good morning to you. It is always a great pleasure for the three of us to bring you your morning news. Aside from the top stories, we have insightful talks. We will speak with the guys from Jakarta Vegan Guide and the 30 Days of Lunch podcast on the importance of using their voice to present quality content in the digital era. All that and more within the next 3 hours. I'm Marissa Anita.
And good morning to all of you. I'm Caroline Saramatbar here. Of course, I want to say good morning to all of you that is watching and tuning in with us right here on the C Morning Show, the Tuesday edition from Foxtel's Flash Australia, Macau Cable TV Channel 84, and Vision Philippine Channel 58, and Air Cable Philippines, Salamat, and Singtel Singapore Channel 15, and StarHub Channel 720. And of course, as always, right here, we're going to begin our show with our headlines for today.
New Twitter boss Elon Musk has been planning to revamp Twitter Blue's subscriptions, requiring users to pay higher monthly fees.
More than 100 people in the Philippines have died in one of the most devastating storms to hit the country this year.
On Monday, Indonesian architect Andra Matin received the Aga Khan Award for Architecture 2022 in Muscat, Oman.
And from sports, the Indonesian women's basketball national team won the inaugural edition of the SEA Women's Basketball League 2022. The title was won by defeating Thailand 2-1 on aggregate in the final. All right, let's get started for some world news here, starting off in India, where rescuers continue to search for victims of a deadly bridge collapse in the western Indian state of Gujarat on Monday.
They scoured the dark waters for survivors, but were seen recovering a number of bodies instead. At least 134 people died and many were injured when the cable suspension bridge over the Mach River collapsed on Sunday evening. Meanwhile, the state government said it had formed a special team to investigate the disaster.
Authorities said the 19th century colonial era bridge collapsed because it could not handle the weight of the large crowd. The bridge had been closed for renovation for almost 6 months and had been reopened just days before the collapse.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is from the state of Gujarat and happened to be there on a 3-day visit, said he was deeply saddened by the tragedy. His office announced compensation to the families of the dead and urged for speedier rescue efforts.
What is the most saddening about this is local authorities that said those who died were mostly women, children, and elderly, because people are actually overcrowding the bridge because they were celebrating Diwali, right? And the authorities have now promised a full investigation, and questions are now being asked about whether safety checks were done before the bridge was reopened and whatnot. It is one of the known most popular attraction and known locally as Julto Pool, or the swinging bridge. So right now, Home Minister Harsh Sangui said a number of criminal cases had been registered over the incident. And again, as we reported, over 177 people have been rescued so far, but officials said that the death toll is expected to rise further.
Wow, that's so shocking, because yesterday, I think when we reported on, we didn't know if there were any casualties at all yet. And
Right.
It's such a high number. It's sad to hear that it might even be higher.
Right.
Yeah, so now we move to Korea, where there are many casualties as well. In the stampede that happened during the Halloween, a team of police officers and government forensics experts arrived in Seoul's Itaewon neighborhood on Monday.
Now, they conduct a joint investigation in the area following a deadly crowd surge in which more than 150 people had died. South Korean police are investigating what caused the surge during Halloween festivities in Seoul over the weekend, and the country's worst disasters in a year. Now, excuse me, in years. Now, police launch a 561-member task force to delve into detail of this crush.
Saturday's deadly crowd surge happened at a sloped, narrow alley in Itaewon, which is a popular nightlife district in the area. They say the entire Itaewon area was extremely jammed with slow-moving vehicles and partygoers clad in Halloween costumes, making it almost impossible for rescuers and ambulances to reach the site in time.
So as of right now, investigators are now combing, on this CCTVs, and also they're asking nearbys and also employees in the shops of what, as witnesses and whatnot. They'll be also analyzing and whatnot of the CCTVs right now. Investigators had combed footages on Monday, more than 50 state and private closed-circuit TV cameras as well, from social media, looking for answer to how a surge in the Halloween party goes trapped in narrow alleys had killed so many. Now, Prime Minister Han Duck-soo, who steered a task force team handling the accident, said the identification of the victim was nearly complete and funeral preparation could move ahead, promising support of the families that have lost their loved ones. Now, there is also one Korean artist that had died in the crash, and that is 24-year-old actor-singer Lee Ji-han, who competed in the second season of reality talent show Produce 101. And Lee's agency 935 Entertainment confirmed his death in a statement. Actor Lee Ji-han, who is a part of our precious family, left our side and became a star in the sky.
Wow. Is there any follow-up in regards to that theory that possibly the crowds were jammed because they noticed somebody famous? Could it
no,
be linked?
because this is, he is one, not as, famous as one.
Right, it wouldn't cause like a mad.
Right, but, they were still saying right now they're still looking for that confirmation.
It has to be like a reason, right? I mean, where suddenly everyone went to one spot as opposed to keep on.
There was that rumor, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything more about it.
Right, and of course we're going to keep you updated in regards to what's happening in South Korea, but now we're going to shift our focus elsewhere around the world, and this is also in one of the Asian countries where some cosplayers who were celebrating Halloween in Tokyo, Japan, expressed their shock at what happened in Seoul.
Following the Itaewon crowd crush, police were seen strengthening security at the famous Shibuya crossing.
On Sunday, Japan's Metropolitan Police Department had strengthened security in Shibuya. Officers were seen managing the flow of people crossing the road and warning pedestrians to take care over loudspeakers. Meanwhile, some cosplayers also expressed their shock at the crowd crush that happened in Seoul, South Korea.
人が亡くなるっていうのはちょっと衝撃的すぎて、やっぱかわいそうだなって思いますね。
楽しみ方っていうのをもう一回考え直す機会には衝撃的にはすごく大きかったのでなったかなとは思います。
The Sunday celebration also joined by a number of Indonesian cosplayers who are seen wearing jacket of an online taxi service Gojek, a uniform of state-owned enterprise Pertamina, while some others wore Javanese wedding dresses.
So it looks busy, but if you think back pre-pandemic, it's very subdued compared to what usually happens at Shibuya Crossing. Now, yes, it's still very fresh in our minds, the incident that happened in South Korea, but maybe the trauma for Japanese Halloween revelers goes beyond that, as local authorities called for more vigilance this year after last year's celebrations were marred by a knife and arson attack at a Tokyo train with a man that was dressed as a Joker that left 17 people injured. I believe we reported on that here as well. So in that area, in the Kyo line where the attack occurred, revelers are asked to refrain from wearing costumes on the train on the way to Shibuya as well. They said that they would question, security personnel had the right to question anyone that they felt were dressed suspiciously or looked suspicious whatsoever. So there were also no specific entry restrictions to limit the number of people gathering around Shibuya Station, because you know that's on one of the corners. Security guards asked partygoers this year to put away any drinks that they were carrying and to refrain from smoking in the streets. This is to mitigate like the risks of COVID-19 and everything else. However, if you've ever been to Japan, you know that, it's in some countries like in Toronto, you're not allowed to have an open drink on the road. Like you have to kind of consume it indoors, or you can just carry it in cases. But in Japan, it's a little bit more free than that. And so some people were a little bit disappointed that there were these new drinking rules in place. However, the mood was already very somber after midnight Japan time. They heard about what happened in South Korea as well. So a lot of factors came into play, but glad to report no one got hurt.
Right. And you know what? I just remember, I'm pretty sure Marissa and also UP, Halloween should be really fun, right? It seems. And even when we were kids, you would go trick-or-treating and whatnot. We'll be waiting for the day because we know we can wear the costume that we want to be. But now as you grow, older and you become an adult, it became more eerie because all, people are using this day of, celebration where we can just have fun and enjoy to something of their own kind of agenda and whatnot. So hopefully, people will bring it back, so this celebration can also be enjoyed by the loved ones.
That's right. It's not only...
But this Gojek guy was...
It's amazing, by the way. Yeah, I was waiting for that one too.
I was thinking, it's like, I think I see several Indonesian faces here as well. Some of them wore the whole kebaya for the wedding.
Very cool, by the way. Way to represent, guys.
I know. Yeah. Look at that, the Satpam and the Pertamina.
The gas station guy,
It's great.
Amazing.
Yeah. Great.
Amazing. Anyway, let's move on to our last bit of news here. I'm sure you guys have been following along with this one, where new Twitter boss Elon Musk had been planning to revamp Twitter Blue subscriptions for quite some time, which will eventually require users to pay higher monthly fees.
Yes, that is $20. Meanwhile, according to The Verge, employees have been threatened to be fired if they fail to meet the new features launching deadline, which is 7th of November.
The new Twitter Blue is set to provide additional features, including verification. Once implemented, verified users will have 90 days to subscribe to the $19.99 new monthly plan, or they'll lose their verification status. The optional premium subscription currently costs at $4.99.
The Verge reported that Musk would like to see subscriptions make up half of Twitter's overall revenue. Meanwhile, the editor-at-large of TechCrunch, Mike Butcher, predicted that Elon Musk will likely introduce new kinds of features and business models as well.
Now, according to Mashable, yes, we may have to pay $20 or $19.99 per month to maintain our verified blue-ticked badge. And Mashable predicts that many users have indicated they'd rather just be unverified. However, Twitter's proposed changes could allow those who aren't verified to essentially purchase the coveted blue tick badge. Currently, Twitter only grants verified status to notable accounts from a, quote, prominently recognized individual or brand. And if the change goes through, it's probable that anyone who fulfills the other two criteria of being active on Twitter and confirming their identity will be able to get verified. And this could potentially be useful in fighting disinformation and impersonation, something that Elon Musk mentioned previously and actually annoyed him massively, and that's why he wants to buy Twitter. And now, once the Twitter's new policy kicks in, users will have 90 days to subscribe or lose their blue tick. It is currently unclear what will happen to verified users in countries where Twitter Blue is not available. That is countries like the US, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand. It is also unclear whether Musk has actually thought this through. If we talk about Twitter Blue, what is Twitter Blue exactly? Twitter Blue currently allows users to edit their tweets, upload videos in 1080p, and see what articles are being shared the most in their network. It also enables accounts to use an NFT as their profile picture, because if you're paying for Twitter, there is a non-zero chance you're also in crypto. Even with the addition of verification, none of this seems worth shelling out for. So there you go. I have a blue tick.
Okay.
So does that mean that I have to pay $20 now? Wow.
$19.99 plus tax.
Okay, well, here, let me ask you back.
Right.
Would you pay $19.99 to keep your blue tick?
A month, right?
A month.
Per month.
Yeah. It would be different if it's per year, right?
It's about $300,000 a month.
This is the thing, though. If I were an active user of Twitter, probably I would.
There you go.
You know, because it means that I would interact a lot, and I was a lot of the new features, whatever the new features are. The thing is, I'm a passive user, so I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I haven't decided yet because we haven't seen the new features yet.
Right.
But definitely, I don't want to engage too much on social media anyway, so maybe
Right.
I'll just let it drop.
Okay, so let me, by the way, add to your Twitter Blue current $5 subscription also includes a different color home screen icon. Ooh. But anyway, that's it. That's all you get. Like when you, if you go with this, and I for one love it. I'm going to get your take in a second, but I love this because I think Elon Musk knows exactly what he's doing. I think he had this all in his head going in, which is why he bought it to begin with. What he's trying to do is, along with preventing disinformation, he also wants to level the playing field for everyone. Like, for example, if somebody gets an endorsement and they tweet something, if they have a blue check, they're likely to get a higher rate, or they can command a higher fee. Verified. And verified does not mean actually verified anymore, if you translate it. Verified means what? It's confirmed. It is this person. However, verification has become a status symbol. Like, oh, I'm verified. I've got the blue check. I can command more money. I'm more important than you non-blue checkers. So it becomes like this classification, which doesn't make sense. So what Elon Musk is doing is he's leveling the playing field. If it's you with identification, then you're you, and you have a similar voice than me. It doesn't matter who we are. And I think that's the part my favorite about it.
But what about those who can't pay, though?
Well,
I mean, those who can't pay just because, not because they're less legit or what they say is, you know, less important, but they just can't pay $20.
Well, then
$20 is pretty high. It's like a Netflix subscription.
They don't need a blue check because they likely don't make money off the platform. So they probably don't need it, and they'll be just fine without it. Because a blue check is when it's work-related or endorsement-related. And another thing that I like about it is you don't become the richest man in the world by not knowing how to make money. So the fact that he wants to increase subscriptions as opposed to relying on ads all the time, and people, we're starting to hate ads, and I think...
Oh, not starting. We've always hated
ads. In general. And I think he recognizes that as well, and he's like, we need to figure out how to balance this out so we're not so reliant on ads when people get eventually sick of it, or they can be the nice guy and say, hey, we're going to remove some ads for you guys, but instead they're already making money off you another way. So,
I don't know. I mean, like, again, you know, when social media came into our life, it's more of like you know, having this social interaction, you know, and a platform. But now it's making,
days.
but now it's very into business and whatnot. I get it because, you know, people have their stuff going on, you know, and they can gain a lot of money from it too. So I guess, you know, this is something that is going to change. Would I be up for it? If there's a lottery ticket, if I paid $20 a month and I can go up to space by SpaceX, maybe I'll pay that $20. All right. Anyways, he changed his Twitter bio.
Oh, what does it say?
He is Chief Twit.
Chief Twit. I like that. Yeah, nice and simple. Exactly. Did he have a different color icon? Is he a Twitter blue?
Is it pink?
All right, on that note, we're going to take a first short break here of the program. Plenty more to come, including some headlines and news from Southeast Asia. When we return, stay with us. Well, in that case, you have to look at it from a non-monetary. Yeah, we begin in Malaysia, where freak storm wreaked havoc in Bukit Payang on Monday. A total of 25 properties made up of houses and shops were damaged by the storm, which struck it.
What makes
new place feels like home, I always believe it's about the people and the community. I love the tomato sauce. This is what I always say, the dish of signature. And food often the best way to connect them all. Ooh, this one really good. Restaurants, for me, is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on Sea Indonesia.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan, ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
Welcome back to C Morning Show, everyone. Still plenty to cover here from the region of Southeast Asia, so we'll start with some headlines. We begin in Malaysia, where a freak storm wreaked havoc in Bukit Payong on Monday. A total of 25 different properties made up of houses and shops were damaged by the storm, which struck at 2:30 p.m. local time. A local resident said 90% of a house roof and workshop adjacent were damaged after they were blown away by strong winds in a blink of an eye.
Now we move to Thailand. The local police had arrested Chinese leader of a transnational gang on Monday. And this gang trafficked people to work at scam call centers on the border. The suspect founded the 19-member gang to staff call centers that scam people with bogus cryptocurrency investments via dating apps. Victims were then forced to trick Thai customers into fake investments in digital assets or Bitcoin.
And our last headline comes from Singapore, where 4 trial projects will be undertaken this year to assess the use of digital Singapore dollar by individuals, businesses, and the government to make or receive specific payments. The pilot programs led by DBS Bank, Grab, OCBC Bank, and UOB are in conjunction with government agencies and the Monetary Authority of Singapore, the central bank said in a statement on Monday.
And now we go to the Philippines, where more than 100 people have died in one of the most devastating storms to hit the country this year.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was seen paying a visit to a number of affected areas, delivering relief supplies.
At least 105 people died in one of the most destructive storms to lash the Philippines this year, with dozens more feared missing after villagers fled in the wrong direction and got buried in a boulder-laden mudslide. Meanwhile, almost 2 million others were swamped by floods in several provinces. At least 53 victims who died, mostly in flash floods and landslides, were from Maguindanao province in the Muslim Autonomous Region, which was swamped by unusually heavy rains set off by tropical storm Nalgae. Meanwhile, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. inspected damages caused by storms in the Cavite province of the country on Monday. Aboard a helicopter, the president flew over flooded areas and battered properties. He later handed boxes of food and other relief supplies to storm victims in Novelita town, where some residents were trapped on roofs at the heights of flooding over the weekend.
Nagbago rito, hindi masyadong malakas ang hangin, pero maraming bumagsak na tubig at hindi na nakayanan ng ating mga flood control at lumampas na yung tubig doon sa mga dike, doon sa mga flood control natin.
The storm blew out into the South China Sea on Sunday, leaving a trail of destruction in a large swath of the archipelago. About 20 typhoons and storms batter the Philippine archipelago each year. It is located on the Ring of Fire, a region along most of the Pacific Ocean rim, where many volcanic eruptions and earthquakes occur, making the nation one of the world's most disaster-prone.
President Ferdinand Marcos has, we said and reported before, had paid a visit to a number of affected areas. Now, he also mentioned that he indicated that it's not necessary that to declare the state of calamity in the whole country after a passage of Tropical Storm Nalgae that has left 100 dead and more than 1 million affected. Now, the recommendation of Environment and Disaster comes shortly after it first recommended the declaration of state of calamity following the passage of Nalgae in the Philippines after 16 out of 17 regions of the country were at high risk due to the consequences of the storm, and we were actually just reported yesterday right here in the C Morning Show. Now, Nalgae had left the radar of the Philippine authorities. Now, a tropical storm called Queenie is coming on and appeared in the last hours, hitting the west and southwest of the country in the regions of Visayas and Mindanao. So it seems Philippines is not out of the storm just yet.
Wow,
oh, gosh.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to keep you updated on this matter, but right now we're going to have some Halloween celebration. Of course, this festival had increasingly celebrated around the world.
In Manila, Halloween meets cosplay at an event celebrating a fusion of cultures that allows children of all ages to indulge in dressing up in scary costumes.
Cosplay is popular in Asia and growing in popularity around the world. The festival of Halloween has its roots in a blend of pagan and Christian traditions in Ireland and Scotland. Immigrants took the traditions to the United States and it has spread around the world. In Manila, cosplay blends with Halloween in a new fusion of cultures at the Ozin Fest Halloween Special. Cosplayers are dressed as their favorite characters, from Jack Skellington to superheroes and anime. The annual Halloween convention is back after being postponed for 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Among the excited crowd of over 100 fans of TV shows, movies and video games is 53-year-old toy collector and World Wrestling Entertainment or WWE cosplayer Eduardo Pampilon.
Una, to collect toys. Tapos pangalawa, yung to dress up as my favorite character. Yun, and then mapapasaya yung mga bata at mga batang isip.
The Ozin Fest organizers have been hosting numerous cosplay conventions for over a decade, with mostly teenagers and adults in attendance. Their Halloween events attract a wider market that includes children and their families.
Target namin kasi today is to have like more scarier costumes. So yung iba, ang galing nga nila, nag-improvise sila to have their characters be scary kahit di naman talaga ganun yung supposed na itsura ng character. So marami akong nakikita, and the fun part is hindi lang siya basta enclosed doon sa mga usual na pumupunta sa cons namin. Nakakita ko ng mga bata, like talagang hindi naman sila aware dito, pero nakakatawa kasi nag-trick or treat sila, pinupuntahan nila yung mga booth, nagbibigay ng candy.
Attendants say that it is important to return to normality after the pandemic restrictions of recent years.
And now we move to another Southeast Asian country. Laos has reopened its borders for international tourists. It is recovering from the pandemic. And with a new high-speed railway linked to China, the country is back in business.
And our CCD contributor, Fishitra Dijangdi, will let us have a closer look at how the train line can help revive the tourism industry.
A high-speed train shuttles visitors across one of the last remaining communist nations on Earth. Laos, remote, mountainous, and among ASEAN's poorest countries, is in the grip of major changes. The economy is in trouble with inflation running at over 30% since August. That makes the railway a key route to move people and goods to China, giving fast access to its massive economy. But it is also bringing tourists who want to get a taste of a high-speed train for the first time. This tight group of friends say the improved connections and the weak local currency are making travel to Laos even more appealing.
คนไทยก็มาเที่ยวกันเยอะขึ้นนะครับเพราะว่าเดี๋ยวนี้มันมีรถไฟความเร็วสูงจากเวียงจันทร์มาถึงหลวงพระบางใช้เวลาไวขึ้นถ้าปกติแล้วถ้านั่งรถยนต์มาก็ประมาณ8 ชั่วโมงได้แล้วนี่เรามารถไฟประมาณ2 ชั่วโมงเอง
Hotels are hoping for a bumper high season this year as pent-up demand for adventure travel after the pandemic offers some relief to an industry crippled by border closures.
น้อยแต่เบเนฟิตตอนนี้คือรถไฟมีรถไฟมาลูกค้าหลายขึ้นหลายทางเลือกในการเดินทางมาปากแบงเป็นภาพรวมๆแล้วเหนือความคาดหมายตลาดยุโรปจริงๆเหนือความคาดหมายโอเคเป็นบางวันเต็มไปแล้วโนเวมเบอร์เห็นได้ชัดเจนเดือน December เดือน March
But Laos' infrastructure still lags behind its neighbors. The train line is just the first essential link to China, bringing investment to remote areas of this resource-rich country, as well as questions of how to balance development with sustainability.
A boatload full of tourists has just arrived, which is a great relief for a small town that relies on tourism. The pandemic was tough for people here without their visitors, so people here had to rely on low-paying agricultural work. But this sleepy town will remain sleepy no more, as hundreds of Chinese workers set to arrive in just a few months' time to work in major infrastructure schemes, which locals say will bring big changes to their small community.
Some fear the speed of development is too fast, too soon for a small, poor country only just opening up to the world. But for now, a country of hardship and breathtaking natural beauty is just happy to welcome the tourists back and gain some small respite from the economic pain of the pandemic. Wichitra Dungdi for See Today, Pak Bang, Laos.
Hey guys, do you know who will bring a little bit more boost in their tourism industry is National Geographic, because recently one of the most widely read and respected magazines in the world, National Geographic, has selected Laos as one of the 25 most breathtaking places one should visit in 2023. So they wrote that the Laos-China Railway boards a new high-speed train that makes lesser-known regions of Laos accessible to tourists and brings economic opportunities to the locals. Because when we saw previously before this railway, right, villages clustered along the river regularly would host backpackers drawn to the country's exquisite French colonial architecture and stunning palaces and temples, but still, back then, the rugged terrain kept Laos blissfully off the typical tourist trail, and this will change now because there is the railway. And also this week, not only National Geographic, a prominent UK-based travel magazine has also cited Laos as one of the 20 best places to visit in January 2023. It is the top ASEAN country on the list, ranking 6th. Laos has already served over 1 million tourists this year, including 644,000-ish international visitors, and the government expects to attract at least 900,000 foreign arrivals in 2022, which could lead to over $280 million in revenue.
Well, certainly so. I wonder, like, I hope it stays that way because it was underground all this time. Now it's about to go commercial. But maybe one of the reasons it's so beautiful is because they don't have that many visitors.
That is correct.
You know, tourists like to get a little messy, so hope they're able to maintain the
Preserve it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we should visit Fishitua, right? Maybe she can take us here and enjoy the train ride.
Yeah, but she is based in Thailand, right?
Yeah, and then we can just meet up there. And
yeah, that would be great.
January 2023, Maurice said.
Group trip, road trip, here we go.
Yes, group trip. Let's take another break, and when we come back, we'll bring you some local updates from Indonesia. So stay tuned on the C Morning Show. You guys are making me laugh.
To all of you, and for the next few hours we'll bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia and around the world.
With more of a whisper than a resounding clang, Greece has shed another restriction dating back to its painful financial bailout.
Owls in Demak regions in central Java have become Taito Alba owls conservationists. These barn owls are considered friends with farmers as they can help to prey on rats in rice fields.
My name is Grace. Haven't you eaten since morning?
Not yet.
konsumsinya ya dok. Tarik nafas yang dalam.
Longing for a short getaway where you can be away from people but still be productive?
You can! Come down here at Bidadari Island where you can learn a thing or two about the history.
This paradise island is more than just white sands and Tuscan blue waters.
You're not an outdoorsy type? Well, so am I. Don't be dismissive of the idea because
We're gonna get in touch with nature and hopefully have fun while at it. Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Apalagi bersama saya Imam Darto di Ngonten ngobrolin tentang Nusantara. Hap, hap. Weh, jangan banyak-banyak, Neng. Santai aja, lapar situ. Orang Malang ya?
Iya, Malang.
Oh, Malang.
Arek ngalam.
Oke, bisa baca bahasa ngalam?
Bisa.
Coba.
Matur suwun.
Wah, cuma segitu saja.
Ya, dia MD. MD-nya ada panjangannya tuh.
Apa tuh?
My Dream.
Welcome back to Theory of Everything. We will round out some of the biggest or craziest theories that have been circulating around the web and then stuck on your head, such as fan theories that audiences have about movies, shows, comics, or anything really. When the initial trailer for Doctor Strange 2, it was clear Wanda Maximoff held a prominent role in the film, though whether she'd play friend or foe to Benedict Cumberbatch lead remain in question.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
Thank you so much for still joining us. We're here on the C Morning Show, only on C. Today it is the Tuesday edition, but of course we have a celebratory feeling because just yesterday on Monday, Indonesian architect Andra Matin received the Aga Khan Award for Architecture 2022 in Muscat, Oman.
Yes, and in his speech, he reiterated the achievement by another Indonesian architect 30 years ago. Yes, Andra Matin received the award alongside Banyuwangi Regent Ipuk Fiestiandani Anas and former Banyuwangi Regent Azwar Anas. They were awarded for the design of Banyuwangi International Airport.
Now, aside from a sea of paddy fields, the airport blends with the natural landscape and inspired by the traditional houses of the local indigenous people, Osing. The appreciation reclaims the similar award given to Indonesian architect Yebe Mangunwijaya, who designed the housing complex of Kalicode, Yogyakarta in 1992. Then in 1995, Indonesia's Soekarno-Hatta International Airport also received the award, and it was designed by French architect Paul Andrew. Extra happy for this news because he designed our complex.
Yes.
Our homes. So it was one of the only 2 at that time. He didn't do commercial housing complexes. He mostly designed like buildings, and he's very like if you took architecture, because I had a friend who was an architect student in university.
Yes.
You learned him as part of your course.
Wow.
He used that as an example. And one of the things I heard is that the team that he has underneath working for him or part of his team, he would send them on, this was before the pandemic obviously, at least once a year to Japan, if not more often, every few months, and for them to draw inspiration. And I can see that now in my home that he designed. Every nook and cranny there's a use for the space. So it's not a big house, but because he designed it well in that way where space is used very efficiently, you feel like, I have a nook and cranny to put stuff in, and everything looks neat. His designs always look neat.
Yes.
So you can have a lot of things, but you're able to put it away so you have a nice aesthetic when you walk into your room.
And it flows as well, because I remember his house it must be amazing. It is amazing. I mean, if you Google it up, and he really emphasizes the importance of flow around the house. Like that there is no I remember, I think he likes, you know, sometimes with houses we have 2 levels or probably 3 levels, right?
Yeah.
But the transition between the levels, it has to flow. It's not like a broken sort of like, okay, this is the first level, this is the second level.
Correct.
So yeah, it's very interesting.
I love your house, by the way.
Thank you.
It's always very homey and whatnot.
We'll get a little bit tight in there, a little cramped.
Yeah, with 3 kids.
It's right. Party of 5.
All right, let's move on to other news. Another story that we've been following this past week as Tourism and Creative Economy Minister Sandiaga Uno said he will not issue a permit to event organizers that fail to comply with the safety measures that have been set by the government.
The minister has instructed the Deputy of Tourism Products and Event Organizing Deputy to promote the standards for clean, healthy, safe, and sustainable services.
Terjadi insiden over capacity dalam konser berdendang bergoyang dan kapasitas maksimal mencapai 10.000 penonton, tapi di lapangan dihitung lebih dari 21.000 penonton. Oleh karena itu saya sudah menugaskan Ibu Rizky Handayani melakukan evaluasi dan memberikan sosialisasi kepada pelaku event untuk betul-betul mematuhi carrying capacity, early warning system, dan ketersediaan jalur evakuasi.
Yeah, so there was a announcement that was also made by the organizers. I talked about this yesterday in regards to the event that had been canceled. This is from the Berdendang Bergoyang Festival's official Twitter @BB_festival, where they say we sincerely apologize with a heavy heart to inform that the festival event on the 3rd day, which was on the, this is actually not correct, it's actually, the 3rd day was on a Sunday. It was, oh yeah, so correct, October the 30th. And it would be canceled for safety and security reasons. So the show was supposed to go on the main stage for day 3.
Right.
Just parts of the other event shut down, like the other 2 small stages. But after consideration again from the police and authorities, they said, no, we're gonna have to shut the whole thing down.
Is it because they didn't have a permit or something?
No, there was just an excess of people that came.
Yeah. So they were actually saying it was 10,000 people, but in real reality, it was like 20 people.
Closer to 20,000.
Yeah, that attended.
It was.
So do you have a confirmation? How could those almost 20,000 people are there?
Well, no. One of the things is they're realizing that some people just got in just because.
Right.
Oh, hey, can you let me in? We don't know whether it was because. Yeah, some of them were legit, but most of them probably weren't because they're not supposed to have that much of an access. Like I know as a talent, I'm allowed to bring. I would say something reasonable would be anywhere from 1 to from like a manager, a stage manager, a stage hand, to like 5 at the most. Like we never need more than that. Like even if you bring a couple friends.
Correct.
So I cannot imagine that this is because they gave like free passes to the talents and people performing to bring their crew. Like this is an excess of crowds that came, of the audience.
Right.
And many of them wanted to rush only one area at once. And right away, I'm sure flashbacks of Malang, Kanjuruhan, and South Korea just suddenly popped up, and they decided, look, we got away for 2 days of such heavy crowds. Maybe we should just quit while we're ahead. I, for one, even though I lost the gig, I, for one, thought it was a pretty good idea. Just because it's in this climate that we're in, we don't need to take any more chances.
Right. So you know what I heard was actually there was a couple of people already passing out, and that news actually was given to the police. You know, it was and the police officers and whatnot, and they immediately made an act, went to Polda and whatnot, and tried to just end the event at all, because I think it was a good way from the law enforcement, from the government officials, and also by the organizers to say it's okay to cancel it because this is the reality, right?
Well, look at Astroworld with Travis Scott. I mean, when people started passing out, if they managed to do something like that where they immediately did something about it, and perhaps lives could have been saved, because people pass out at concerts all the time. It's happened in the past, and they'll pass them over to the front, make sure they're getting some medical help. But here, in this case, Istora, the outside, the doors that had already been closed and locked, people were still trying to get in. So they imagine if something happened, we're trying to get out, all these people are outside, so it would be just a head-to-head.
I know that. I know. I mean, but I also noticed that there's a lot of events and a lot of, like gatherings nowadays, and completely understandable because people are tired of COVID. They just want to gather again. They just want to have fun. But at the same time, I am a little bit, like cautious about joining crowds at the moment because of that. It's like people can be, it's like people can be overexcited. They just like, I just want to go from this extreme to that extreme. Now it's time to have fun, and they forget that there are safety measures that
It's
we
not
have
just
to
COVID that we have to worry about, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So I would just avoid crowds.
Good- good
I know.
thinking.
Exactly. And now we are going to move on to our next story. Yes, Indonesia is going to face its general election in 2024, and the Election Supervisory Agency, or Bawaslu, has launched an online reporting system called Sigap Lapor on Monday, October the 12th.
This particular app will allow residents to report any violations during the general election in the easiest way possible. The launching event was attended by a number of stakeholders, including Home Affairs Ministry, House of Representatives, along with political parties.
Now, Sigap Lapor provides an easy access to reporting and boasts document digitalizations. The features are expected to facilitate data management and handling the violations. Meanwhile, Bawaslu will still be receiving direct reports.
Laporkan langsung, iya. Apalagi tadi banyak bilang ini kan wifi-nya nggak ada, ini apalagi pulsa harus naik pohon dulu baru bisa lapor, kan jadi masalah juga. Silakan menghubungi kantor panwasnya masing-masing.
Yeah, speaking of the election 2024, there are some names already, right? Who are planning to run.
I saw some billboards.
Yeah. Well, who are they?
Well, this is not official.
Yes,
ones,
of
but
course.
Those ones that said so-and-so for president.
Yes.
Yeah, in Bandung, I saw Eric Thohir for president.
Really?
2024. It's a large one. It was in a very common street near Setiabudi. I was like, oh, these obviously those are people that want to support who they think.
Yes, of course, because I also see some posters, and I think the ones who are kind of sort of like testing the water a little bit already is Ganjar Pranowo, right? And there's also Puan Maharani, Prabowo, definitely. It seems that he's going to be running as well, and Anies Baswedan. Yes.
Oh, so has it been made?
Well, nothing is official.
Yeah,
Nothing is official, but I mean, there's a lot of prediction that these four are going to run, but we'll see. Yeah.
Make for an exciting race.
Exactly, and I'm loving this app too with Sigap Lapor because we know what happened, just a year or so when it was the election, and hopefully with this kind of app, everyone, including us as the community and civil society, can really be, vigilant in this, and hopefully we can all be friends and family even during election year.
Exactly. Do not get polarized, guys. Do not get polarized.
Please do. All right, so our next bit of news right now is Vice President Ma'ruf Amin and State-Owned Enterprises Minister Eric Thohir attended Islamic Boarding School Students' Day on Monday.
Yes, many students came to at Thohir Mosque in Depok, West Java to listen to the importance of empowerment to create a greater Sharia economic community.
Vice President Ma'ruf Amin and State-Owned Enterprises Minister Eric Thohir celebrated Islamic Boarding School Students' Day on Monday, the 31st of October. Many students attended the celebration and they were given encouragement to bring a spirit of empowerment. This year, the celebration focused on the theme of empowerment to maintain the dignity of humanity.
Sekarang santri harus menggerakkan. Saya bilang jangan ada tanah yang tidur, lahan yang tidur di Indonesia ini. Dan jangan ada tenaga yang nganggur. Insya Allah makmur. Karena itu lahan-lahan harus kita manfaatkan dengan baik. Dan juga produk-produk ini harus ada yang memasarkan baik dalam negeri maupun luar negeri.
Islamic boarding school students are expected to contribute in the Sharia economic community. The community has an 11% potential, yet Vice President Ma'ruf Amin aimed to elevate it, setting a target at 16%. In response to this, the chairman of Sharia Economic Community, who is also a State-Owned Enterprises Minister, Eric Thohir, worked together with Financial Services Authority, or OJK. During the celebration, they signed MOUs pushing for creative economic development next year.
Kerjasama seperti ini diharapkan dapat terus terjalin dengan berbagai pihak. Karena pelaksanaan kegiatan seperti ini bersama pondok pesantren diharapkan untuk memberikan multiplier effect yang positif bagi lingkungan dan sekitarnya, termasuk masyarakat mengingat peran penting santri di lingkungan.
Islamic Boarding School Students' Day celebrated annually on October the 22nd, commemorating the nationalism fatwa directed to Islamic boarding school students in 1945. Andira Putri and Nico Arianto for See Today.
Penandatanganan MOU antara foto bersama.
And that last update concludes our local updates for this segment. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, Paul Polele is set to bring you some sports updates. We have some update from World Cup, a little bit of cricket, basketball here and there. But what I'm going to say to you, P?
Oh, very nice. Well, unfortunately,
I'm doing the Kobe.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have much news out of the NBA today, so sorry for that. No, I'm just kidding. We have plenty of news from the NBA. The Lakers won. Congratulations to Caroline. We've got also other sports news, but stay tuned for that and much more when we return on the C Morning Show. Sports is up next.
What makes a new place feels like home? I always believe it's about the people and the community. I love the tomato sauce. This is what I always say, the dish of signature. And food often the best way to connect them all. Ooh, this one really good.
Restaurants, for me, is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on See Indonesia.
On football's greatest stage, the gods of the game have earned their encore. Pelé, Beckenbauer, Cruyff, Maradona. It's the cup of hope. The cup of dreams. It's football's biggest prize on the greatest stage of all.
Hey, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk with me, Paul Polele. Let's say hello to Bibo and the Buds. Hey, guys! Oh, this is your assistant, Trey.
Hi, my name is Polele. For us, going like solo right now is like a refreshing.
I'm actually not good at acting because I'm too real.
Well, it's time for another Buddy Challenge. It's the only word I know.
Siapa sejak dini untuk masa depan. Aras ini sangat visi misi.
Visioner, bukan visi misi. Kalau visi misi, visi foya, misi foya, visi misi, foya, foya. Oh, digambar cakep, Sel.
Digambar ya lumayan.
Tapi
lumayan jelek.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
To all of you, and for the next few hours we'll bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia and around the world.
With more of a whisper than a resounding clang, Greece has shed another restriction dating back to its painful financial bailout.
Schools in Demak Regency in Central Java have become Taito Alba Owls conservationists. These barn owls are considered friends with farmers as they can help to prey on rats in rice fields.
Welcome back to the C Morning Show, everyone. It is 10 to 7 in the a.m., and it's time for your first sports update of the morning. American Francis Tiafoe, the number 16 seed at the tournament, reached the second round of the Paris Masters by winning against Italian qualifier Lorenzo Sonego 6-4 and 6-4 at the Accor Arena on Monday. Tiafoe has enjoyed a breakthrough season with a run to the U.S. Open semifinal and the subsequent Tokyo final, placing him in the top 20. Next, TFO will play the winner of the match between French wildcard Arthur Rinderknecht and Jack Draper. All right, let's move on to some football updates. France midfielder Paul Pogba will miss the World Cup due to ongoing knee problems. Pogba returned to training with Juventus only this month following surgery on his right knee in early September. He has not played since returning to Juventus from Manchester United and was injured again upon his return. Tests in Turin and Pittsburgh confirmed that the 29-year-old Pogba will not be fit enough in time for the World Cup. Let's move on to some cricket news. As hosts Australia defeated Ireland by 42 runs at the Brisbane Cricket Ground on Monday to claw back some of their net run rate deficit in Super 12 Group 1 and also keep their hopes of progression to the ICC Men's 2020 World Cup semifinals alive. Moving on, the Indonesian women's basketball national team won the inaugural edition of the 2022 Sea Women's Basketball League. The title was won after defeating Thailand 2-1 on aggregate in the final. In a series that had been held since the beginning of October, the Indonesia Elite advanced to the finals after winning 4 games in 6 to face the Snipers from Thailand, which was held at Gor Kertajaya, Surabaya. In the first game of the final on Saturday, the Indonesia Elite won 51-49, but then lost 59-63 in the second game, which took place just 1 day later. In the deciding game that was held on Monday, Indonesia Elite managed to lock in a 65-56 victory. This title was a great opportunity for the women's basketball national team to prepare for the upcoming 2023 SEA Games. In the previous edition in Vietnam, Indonesia finished with a silver medal.
Finding another shoot, Sasibon for 3, 5 seconds of the game clock.
So Indonesia took control of this one right from the start. They commanded a lead in the first 5 minutes due to their accuracy from the field. They also had a rebounding advantage over Thailand, despite Thailand having fewer turnovers. Indonesia managed to get 19 offensive rebounds in this one and converted them to 9 points. This was enough to cover the 14 turnovers that were created by Indonesia. 3 Indonesians finished with double digits in this one. Adelaide Wong Soharjo was the team's top scorer with 12 points and 7 rebounds. Letty had 5 of 11 shots for 45%. And also was named the MVP for the final. Yuni Anggreni and Henny Sutiono added each 11 points. And despite not scoring double-digit points, once again, Agustin Gradita Retong played a big role with 7 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Definitely a good experience. Let's see if they can carry this over to next year's SEA Games. Well, we got more basketball news, this time out of the NBA. We're going to start in the West, where the Dallas Mavericks rebounded from a collapse one night earlier by defeating the Orlando Magic 114-105 on Sunday. Rookie Paolo Banchero was held to just 18 points for the Magic. The first time this season that the #1 draft pick has failed to hit 20 points. His 6-game streak was tied for the 3rd longest to begin a career. Meanwhile, on the other end, his opponent, Luka Doncic, has scored 30 or more points in each of the first 6 games. The first player to do that since Michael Jordan in 1986. This also marks his second 40-point game in the past 3 games. He finished 17 of 26 from the field. He also notched 5 assists along with 3 rebounds. Well, the Mavericks were clearly suffering the effects of having played an overtime game just a day and a half earlier. Luka Doncic did what great players do and played a fantastic game after a subpar one the night before. The Mavericks overcame adversity and now even their season record to 3-3. Here are some numbers for you guys. So 44 points was the number of points that Doncic scored. His stats are not always the best way to evaluate his play. He had a 31-point triple-double the night before, but he played poorly. But for this rematch, he was aggressive and made up for it with a season high of 44 points. Now, he also made 15 of 17 two-point attempts. Now, that is a staggering efficiency. So, along with that as well, on the other end, he committed 0 turnovers for the Mavericks. So, again, that can only add up to a great performance. Doncic will always put up numbers because of his usage. Unfortunately, most of his usage will also come with an increase in turnovers. That was not the case last night. Meanwhile, 21 points, the number of points that Tim Hardaway Jr. scored. He has a potential to change the ceiling of this team, much like Jalen Brunson did last year, as he's now moved to New York, making way for Tim Hardaway Jr., showing that he is going to provide impressive contribution at times throughout the season. So, it's still early in the season. The Mavericks like to make their fans nervous earlier on, as usual. This was a game that the team could have absolutely excused themselves for losing due to fatigue or whatnot. However, it was a great performance, and having Luka Doncic certainly doesn't hurt. Well, on to the great news coming out of the NBA, as finally Laker Nation can breathe a sigh of relief as the Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Denver Nuggets 121-110. King James led the way for the Lakers with 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists, while Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook added a combined 41 points in the victory.
And LeBron, unencumbered, just comes in and takes it. Nobody guarding LeBron.
LeBron James scored 26 points, and Anthony Davis added 23 to help the Los Angeles Lakers to their first win of the season with a 121-110 over the Denver Nuggets on Sunday night. Russell Westbrook had 18 points for the Lakers, who had lost their first 5 games of the season under first-year head coach Darvin Ham. Los Angeles was the last winless team in the NBA. Meanwhile, Nikola Jokic scored 23 points, and Jamal Murray added a season-high 21 for the Nuggets, who had 4 of their last 5 and 2 straight games before Sunday's loss.
Oh, and Jeff Green turns back the clock.
The Lakers made 13 three-pointers on 13 for 30 shooting after struggling with long-range shots this season in their previous 5 games. The Nuggets made 15 three-pointers. Davis was aggressive early after missing 1 game with lower back tightness and was questionable Sunday but played.
And he throws up a tough shot and buries the triple.
Well, being 0-5 and the only undefeated, or winless rather, team in the NBA means one thing, is that you just don't win. Along with that, you probably don't do a lot of things well. But one of the things that the Lakers have particularly struggled with all season long so far earlier on here is the third quarter. They've come out slow, they've struggled, they've given up leads, and prior to Sunday's game, they had basically lost every third quarter they played. Now, LeBron did everything he could to change that stat. He started the quarter scoring back-to-back field goals, and midway through the third, he was the game's leading scorer despite having a rough first half. Now, Lonnie Walker then caught fire, and the Lakers took the quarter by storm. They ended the third on a 13-0 run and were up by 8 going into the third, which was also their biggest lead of the season. Now, the Lakers finally closed the game out and never let Denver get any closer than 5. All the key pieces produced enough. LeBron had 26. Anthony Davis had a double-double of 23 points and 15 rebounds. Russ had 16. He went 6 of 12 from the field, 50%, very respectable. And Lonnie Walker went 3 of 5 from three-point range, which was all too much for Denver to overcome. Now, it was only just one game, but it was the one that the Lakers sorely needed. For the Lakers, Murphy's Law was in full effect during October. If AD was in, then Russ was out. If Russ was in, then AD was out. And if both were in, both were playing pretty badly. So the defense was good, but the shooting was horrible all month long. Steals were league leading, and they were getting thoroughly out-rebounded night in and night out. Now at 1-5, the Lakers still have a lot of work to do to get back on track, but for one night, there were signs that perhaps this is a good team after all. They just need to find their way. All right, let's move on now to our MVP. Two selections. Here's our first. This one comes from Maxi Kleber, but credit goes to Luka Doncic for this one as he finds the big man slashing to the basket and leaving somewhat of a hook lob right in the perfect placement above the rim. Kleber gets up there and throws it down. Dallas with a much-needed win after coming off a loss against the same squad. Look at that. So we're going to give that one to Doncic. Let's go to our next candidate for Play of the Day. This one comes from, that's right, Crypto.com Arena, where Austin Reeves drives to the basket. Now, we had plenty of LeBron highlights, perhaps a couple from Russ as well, but this one certainly takes the cake. Austin Reeves, definitely a crowd favorite in Los Angeles as he finishes with that beautiful up and under, drawing the foul and counting the basket. And that's Austin Reeves with your second candidate for Play of the Day. So we're going to need your help to select which one is our MVP or most valuable play of the day. You can send us your votes via social media on our Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at See Today News. We will tally up your votes. So is it Austin Reeves or is it Luka Doncic? We will tally up your votes and announce and replay the winner on our sports recap later on. All right, that does it for sports for now. It's time for me to take a short break, but don't go anywhere. When we return, Caroline and Marissa will be back to share with you some unique feature stories from right here in Indonesia. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Lagi bersama saya Imam Darto di Ngonten ngobrolin tentang Nusantara. Hap, hap. Weh, jangan banyak-banyak, Neng. Santai aja, lapar situ. Orang Malang ya?
Iya, Malang.
Oh, Malang.
Arek ngalam.
Oke, bisa baca ngalam?
Bisa.
Coba.
Matur suwun.
Wah, cuma segitu saja.
Ya, dia MD. MD-nya ada panjangannya tuh.
Apa tuh?
My Dream.
Longing for a short getaway where you can be away from people but still be productive?
You can! Come down here at Bidadari Island where you can learn a thing or two about the history.
This paradise island is more than just white sands and Tuscan blue waters.
You're not an outdoorsy type? Well, so am I. Don't be dismissive of the idea because
we're gonna get in touch with nature and hopefully have fun while at it. See the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Hi, my name is Grace.
Haven't you eaten since morning?
Not yet.
Ada yang harus saya konsumsi nggak ya, Dok? Tarik nafas yang dalam.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
Welcome back to Theory of Everything. We will round out some of the biggest or craziest theories that have been circulating around the web and then stuck on your head, such as fan theories that audiences have about movies, shows, comics, or anything really. When the initial trailer for Doctor Strange 2, it was clear Wanda Maximoff held a prominent role in the film, though whether she'd play friend or foe to Benedict Cumberbatch lead remain in question.
Hello and a very good afternoon to all of you. And for the next few hours, we'll bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and around the world.
With more of a whisper than a resounding clang, Greece has shed another restriction dating back to its painful financial bailout.
Schools in Demaku Jimsim Central Java have become Taito Alba Owls conservationists. These barn owls are considered friends with farmers as they can help to prey on rats in rice fields.
We are back with us on the C Morning Show. Time for some great feature stories from Indonesia. Kendari, Southeast Sulawesi, has this particular handicraft which was in the beginning created out of the hands of the Chinese immigrants in the early 20th century.
All right, and of course it attracted attention of European royalties in the past, but now the craft is experiencing a little bit of crisis. Let's find out why.
Silver craft is one of the most known products of the capital city of Southeast Sulawesi. The craft that has existed since the early 20th century is better known as Kendari work. Kendari work comes from a Dutch word, which means work of Kendari. The technique used is the filigree technique, which is rarely used by other silversmiths in Indonesia. Filigree strings find silver threads into a framework that is also made of silver, which is then shaped according to the desired motif.
Kami upayakan untuk kuantitas yang lebih baik. Jadi kadar perak tetap kami pertahankan minimal 96%. Itu minimal. Itu pun pencampuran hanya ada di solder atau patri untuk perekat. Kalau di batang rangka dengan benang murni. Waktu pengerjaannya itu tergantung juga bentuknya, tingkat kesulitan itu menentukan.
Here, the entire manufacturing process from silver smelting to final polishing is done manually, without any touch of a machine.
Tapi kami di Sulawesi Tenggara, Kendari ini, mulai dari awal sampai akhir, all in. Setiap perajin harus. Jadi kami kerjakan dari awal sampai akhir, sampai produk itu siap dipasarkan. Itu bedanya kami. Kecuali proses pengisian, perempuan yang kerjakan. Tingkat ketelitian perempuan itu lebih besar dari laki-laki.
The process begins with the smelting of silver, which is then molded into ingots with the size of an adult's finger. The silver ingot is then forged into wire. The wire is then smoothed by pulling repeatedly until it is as thin as a thread. After that, the silver thread is ready to be assembled to form the Kendari work motif.
Kalau yang seperti biasa bunga-bunga itu dalam sehari, misalkan, tapi dia sudah tersedia bahannya, misalkan benang, rangka, patri, bahan-bahan itu, kami bisa membuat 1 sampai 2. Tapi kalau kami harus mulai dari tahap peleburan, 1 hari itu tidak selesai, tidak ada apa-apa. Tapi
the history of Kendari work crafts was started by a jewelry craftsman of Chinese descent named Ji Woi in the early 20th century. Mr. Ji created a motif inspired by spider's web. The work motif is indeed synonymous with spider's web, which is intricate and detailed. In 1962, Kendari work won an award at an exhibition in Amsterdam, Netherlands. Then, it caught the attention of Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands, who ordered a tray, and Queen Elizabeth of England, who ordered a miniature carriage drawn by 4 horses. But now, the craft is threatened with extinction due to a successor crisis. There were only a handful of silversmiths left, and even that was dominated by old silversmiths. See Today contributor reporting from Kendari, Southeast Sulawesi.
And, it's sad to know and also to report, through that feature segment, saying that we're lacking a successor because maybe the younger generation nowadays doesn't want to, be in that kind of, industry or whatnot. But you and I were saying how amazing that was, right?
So amazing. It's so delicate.
Yeah,
so
the intricacy and whatnot.
Oh my goodness.
And hopefully, the younger generation would also follow up on this because this is something, this is our heritage. This is, one of the best things that we can do as Indonesian. And it is like the time for a creative economy. Make it modern. Why not, right?
Yes.
A little twist of modern into it.
Absolutely. It's like, the trend of, hopefully this is not only a trend, but this is a long-lasting thing. How the young people are now interested in being farmers again.
Right. Yes.
So
now with using the app and they're putting a twist of modern and technology together, they could do this the same too.
Exactly.
All right. So, on the last one, we saw a little deer on that. So we're going to talk about animal right now. Now, of course, you're talking about animal educational tourism in Jakarta. You would think one of the best is Ragunan Zoo. Well, Hurufsa, there are also, in fact, other zoos in the city.
Exactly. And one such zoo is in Ancol, North Jakarta.
This is the scene of Fauna Land Zoo, located at Ancol Dreamland, or also known as Taman Impian Jaya Ancol, in Pademangan, North Jakarta. Other than animals that we usually see at zoos, Fauna Land also has rare species such as golden albino siamang, black leopard, and white lion.
Salah satunya yang hanya ada satu-satunya di dunia itu otong, monyet yang nggak punya ekor atau biasanya disebutnya siamang. Dia monyet albino, ditemukannya di Sumatera dan hanya ada di Sumatera ditemukannya dan dititipkan ke Fauna Land untuk diperkenalkan sama masyarakat supaya lebih menjaga lingkungan karena kalaupun otong dibiarkan di hutan itu kan sulit bertahan hidup otong karena warna yang cerah. Jadinya menyulitkan dia bertahan hidup lebih lama, makanya sama negara juga dititipkan ke kami untuk dijaga dan dirawat.
Uniquely, birds that have beautiful features are not put in cages, but are left free as if they're in their original habitat. Visitors can interact directly to take photos and feed them. Besides that, 160 animal cages are situated closely to one another, so visitors don't need to spend their time locating every animal from Indonesia or other countries in Fauna Land.
Untuk Fauna Land sendiri, ini adalah kebun binatang mini, di mana sebenarnya kita ini lembaga konservasi yang bertugas untuk menjaga, merawat, sama memperkenalkan ke masyarakat. Jadi kita ini berkesinambungan dengan negara juga. Jadi kita ini di sini lebih banyak hewan-hewan yang hasil rescue juga, contohnya kayak black panther yang cuma punya kaki 3 atau hewan-hewan albino seperti itu.
At certain hours, this 5-hectare zoo also shows bird attractions. Even though there are no big animals like elephants and giraffes, the existence of the zoo can help educate children about animals that they usually see in books.
Lucu sih hewannya, banget yang unik juga. Senang aja sih, kayak happy aja kalau kesini gitu. Adem sih, untuk suasananya juga enak, maksudnya kita bisa interaksi langsung sama hewan-hewannya sendiri.
If you are interested in spending your holidays with your family at this educational tourist destination, a ticket to Fauna Land only costs you 75,000 rupiah and is open every day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. See Today contributor reporting from Jakarta.
Yes, that's something that we see in Jakarta. But, when we talk about Indonesia, it's not only Jakarta. And we have so many regions. And every region in Indonesia has its own particular fabric, which actually becomes a representative of the culture, of the characteristics of the region.
That's why we're going to fly right now to Bangka Belitung province. You can find 12 fabrics that are woven traditionally. It even said that 12 fabrics were made since hundreds of years ago.
Cual Fabrics is a woven fabric from Bangka Belitung, which has existed since the 17th century. Cual Fabrics, meaning early deep fabric, is made with silk thread, and to this day, it is still produced traditionally. Just like any other fabrics from other regions, Cual weaving has its own uniqueness. The fabric is made from a combination of songket and ikat weaving techniques. The Cual fabric is inspired by flora and fauna, identical with red and gold, to make it look elegant and beautiful. A long time ago, the fabric was only worn by the nobility because of its expensive price. The process of making Cual fabrics is quite complicated. It takes a long time, as it is produced traditionally. Magdalena, one of Cual fabrics makers since 1992, is only able to produce 3 pieces of the fabrics per month. Besides selling in Bangka Belitung, Magdalena's Cual fabrics has been marketed around Java and Batam. They even have been sent to neighboring countries such as Malaysia and Singapore.
Tenun cual dibuat dari Bangka Barat, yaitu mentok. Mentok zaman dahulu kala ada memproduksi tenun cual. Itu namanya celupan awal, jadi dibilang tenun cual. Ada berapa motif, ada ubur-ubur, bebek setaman, kuda laut, dengan kembang bunga hong. Itu namanya bahasa Cina, Cina kan, Cina daratan.
A set of shawl and bottom garments made by Magdalena are priced at 3.6 million rupiah to 6 million rupiah, depending on the raw materials used. The fabrics have also been sold to overseas markets such as Malaysia and Singapore. Magdalena has also sold jumputan fabrics that are made into colorful shirts with price ranging from 200,000 rupiah to 300,000 rupiah. Due to the complexity of the making process, it is only natural that it is sold at a high price.
Nilai seninya tinggi sekali karena selain juga prosesnya yang diperlukan kesabaran ya, terus ketelitian agar motifnya rapat dan tidak lari dari motif yang dibutuhkan, yang diinginkan. Jadi luar biasa. Kalau saya pikir ini adalah yang handmade ya. Kalau teman-teman yang pencinta songket, kalau ketemu songket pasti tahu kualitasnya dan memang jangan ditawar.
The Bangka's Cual fabrics produced by Magdalena have quite a demand. She and other weavers would always receive orders to be sent outside of Bangka Belitung. Magdalena hopes the local government can help to establish Cual fabric production center. So far, Magdalena only relies on her small yard to produce Cual fabrics, Bangka Belitung's cultural heritage. See to the contributor reporting from Pangkal Pinang, Bangka Belitung.
All right, can you imagine these fabrics were around since 100 years ago?
Yes.
It's been so long, a century. All right, so we're going to take another short break right now, right here on the C Morning Show. But when we return, we're going to celebrate World Vegan Day with Jakarta Vegan Guide co-founder Firman Syahmastup and also Marissa and Paul in the next segment. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned.
Sejak dini untuk masa depan. Aras ini sangat visi misi.
Visioner, bukan visi misi. Kalau visi misi, visi foya, visi misi, foya. Oh, digambar cakep, Sel.
Digambar ya lumayan.
Tapi
lumayan jelek.
Football's greatest stage, the gods of the game have earned their encore. Pelé, Beckenbauer, Cruyff, Maradona. It's the cup of hope, the cup of dreams. It's football's biggest prize on the greatest stage of all.
kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
What makes a new place feel like home? I always believe it's about the people and the community. I love the tomato sauce. This is what I always say, the dish of signature. And food often the best way to connect them all. Ooh, this one really good. Restaurants for me is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on Sea Indonesia.
Hello and a very good afternoon to all of you. And for the next few hours, we'll bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and around the world.
With more of a whisper than a resounding clang, Greece has shed another restriction, dating back to its painful financial bailout.
Schools in Demak Regency in Central Java have become Taito Alba Owls conservationists. These barn owls are considered friends with farmers as they can help to prey on rats in rice fields.
Hey buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk with me, Paul Poelli. Let's say hello to Bebo and the Buds. Hey guys! Oh, this is your assistant, Trey.
Hi, my name is Poelli. For us, going like solo right now is like a refreshing. I'm actually not good at acting because I'm too real.
Well, it's time for another Buddy Challenge. It's the only word I know. Hi everyone, welcome back to the C Morning Show. World Vegan Day originated in England in 1994 when vegan animal rights activist Lewis Wallace was looking for a suitable setting to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Vegan Society. Now, Wallace set the date as November the 1st, as it falls exactly between October the 31st, which is Halloween, as well as the Mexican Day of the Dead, which actually falls a day later on November the 2nd.
Yes, and that's very interesting. Now, since November the 1st, 1994, the World Vegan Day has provided a welcoming occasion for all vegans in parts of the world to celebrate and, of course, to further promote a vegan lifestyle with all its positive aspects. Yes, and plant-based diet is now coming back again. You know, a lot of people are more and more aware of how good it is for your body to have a plant-based diet. And also to celebrate Vegan Day today, here in the studio, we bring you Firman Syamastup, the Jakarta Vegan Guide co-founder. Good morning, Firman. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Morris. I'm Paul.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
Great to have you. And also, thank you for bringing this.
A little distracted.
What have you brought here?
It's really distracting, even for me.
It does. So what have you got? What have we got here? Can you explain a little bit?
I brought some Manadonese cuisine, which are made it vegan.
Yes.
So there's a cakalang, rica.
Usually we use fish, right?
Fish or meat, right? Sometimes? No,
Yeah.
it's mostly fish, yeah.
Mostly fish and also sometimes probably chicken. Is that
Yes,
correct?
chicken, beef, and some other protein.
Yeah. So with the chakalang, what is the replacement for the meat then?
So we use alternative fish, which made from soy and mushroom. And to get that fishy taste, there's some nori.
Nori,
So to get that fishy taste.
Wow, that's amazing.
Looks very much like, I'm tricked. I'm thinking, is it beef?
know.
What is it? Is it fish? Yeah.
I know, right? So thank you for bringing this. Paul?
Yeah, I know. I'll get to it later. Maybe we
Not
can get
now,
some
my friend.
steamed rice on the side. Just to
Steamed rice
prepare.
on the side. Yes, before we can dig into the plant-based Manadonese food later, please do tell us about the Jakarta Vegan Guide. What is it?
So Jakarta Vegan Guide is a digital media platform where we aims to help people navigate plant-based lifestyle and sustainable lifestyle in Jakarta and beyond. And the idea started because back in 2017, when I turned myself into vegan, it's really hard to find this information, where to eat, nutrition. So it was coming from my own frustration. And then like a year later, I decided me and my co-founder decided to like, why not we create something so that people can be vegan easily in Jakarta. So that's how. Yeah.
So what kind of information would it be? Would it be about the nutrition? Would it be about recipes? Because I would love to find like a, vegan recipes and one directory sort of thing.
Yeah, all of it actually. Of course, I think because my background was a chef, so there's a lot of food involved in the platform, but also we provide nutrition. Of course, we have a certified nutritionist that write for us, and a lot of about news as well, so that people can keep up with the latest plant-based trend. So yeah, so it's basically everything revolves around plant-based or vegan lifestyle.
Okay, now let's clear up some misconceptions here, because many people, and a lot of my friends out there are all like, I'm living a vegan lifestyle now. It's like, no, you're not. You're just vegetarian. Can you explain the difference of someone living a vegan lifestyle or just being vegetarian?
Yes.
So a vegetarian does not consume any animal flesh or protein, but they still consume or include products like eggs and dairy. Yeah, milk and cheese as well. So any product derived from
dairy products is still
fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Meanwhile, vegan, not only they do not consume animal protein, but also or like flesh, but they also do not include dairy and eggs in their diet.
Anything that comes from an animal.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Okay, that's the biggest difference. Also, does it also not include like a whole lifestyle? For example, the soaps that you use or clothes that you wear. It's also non-animal derived, correct?
Correct. So when somebody tells you that they're vegan, oftentimes not only they incorporate, like plant-based food, but also they try to exclude themselves from anything that's coming from an animal product, which means your watch, your clothes, soap. So it's transcend beyond your diet.
Yeah, I think it's two completely different things, and I think a lot of people just kind of throw the word vegan around too easily, just because we do label like vegan restaurants and things like that. So.
Is it easy becoming a vegan in Indonesia? Especially, like the thing that you mentioned earlier, being vegan actually means not using any animal products whatsoever. Like, for example, I pay attention to my watch, and the strap obviously is leather. Well, it's derived from animal. Is it easy? Because I imagine in the Western world, there's a lot of information and corporations would have to be transparent where they source their products. But what about in Indonesia? I imagine we're not that advanced yet. So is it easy to become a vegan in Indonesia?
It's easy and hard. So it's easy because I think our culture's already pretty much plant-based. If you look at the data, Indonesia has the lowest consumption of meat. So it's already a good start.
Because it's expensive as well.
Because it's expensive
for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's not accessible for many people. Therefore, many people often eat, tempe, tahu, and the highest protein intake in Indonesia is basically fish, right? Because we're,
maritime.
Abundant.
Yeah. But it's hard because also, like what you just said, I think information and accessibility, knowledge. I think we have all the ingredients that we can actually make, but they just don't know how to make one. Like, for example, like what I brought here, it's not something that people would think when they think of vegan diet. When people think about vegan diet, they straight away think about the salad. They wouldn't think about a dish from a Nadonis, a Manado. So yeah.
So, and I think, obviously, you may have noticed as well in the last, 5 years now, for the Jakarta Vegan Guide, you must have a lot more information to share in regards to places people can eat, recipes as well, just because this thing has grown quite exponentially over the last few years. So, you said that, a lot of people don't think in this direction. It's actually not that difficult. However, a lot of people do associate being vegan as being, it's difficult, it's a hassle for me to make this entire meal. Prove us wrong. Like, how difficult would it be to substitute a regular Mandado's dish with something that is with vegan substitutes?
Okay, so, typically all of the Indonesian or any dishes will use protein, right?
Yes.
Either chicken, beef, or fish. And similar to that, in a vegan diet, we can also do the same thing, except the protein that we make, which is now becoming more available in the market. There's an alternative of fish, alternative of chicken, which is already being made by this, supplier. But also you can use the things that are already found locally, like tofu, tempeh. So instead of making chicken woku or ayam woku, you can make tofu woku.
Right. So those
yeah.
are the direct substitutes. What about the trickier ones, such as dairy products? Because if you're vegan, I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Oat milk.
egg and
Cashew milk.
But when you want to say make baked goods and things like that, you know, some people think butter, eggs are very irreplaceable. So what are some of the substitutes that people can use?
Yeah, so I think in terms of baked product, I totally agree with you that it is more difficult because they just tend to use dairy, eggs. So the alternative of butters actually, it's called, this actually margarine.
Okay.
Which is,
margarine.
Yeah,
You
margarine
can
is
use
actually
margarine.
vegan.
That's right. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. Okay.
And
And
it's
we
actually
grew
a
up
lot
with
cheaper.
margarine.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gluten.
And for egg, it depends on what kind of product you make, but usually I use either applesauce or flaxseed egg, or the easier way, you can actually use banana as a replacement of egg. Although it doesn't work in any recipe, but like in many recipe, but it still works as an alternative. Yeah.
I would like to get personal with you. So when you decided to become a vegan, not even transitioning from, you know, vegetarian then vegan, what made you decide to become a vegan?
I think it's the whole journey. I was raised in a city where I can see how pretty much like livestock being produced. So, but it was always seems normal to me. And then growing up, working in the kitchen. So I think the whole journey was like a process for me to get the understanding how your food is being made, and then finally I get to discover the other side and knowledge about, you know, how meat could actually impact the environment, and then there are an alternative of eating that can actually be healthier and more sustainable. So when you get this knowledge, it just you know, like a thing that easily, you know, I can decide, like, I think this is for me.
Yeah, it just changes you completely.
Exactly.
Was the transition easy for you from eating meat to not eating meat? Because
Absolutely.
that becomes, it was easy for you.
No, it was actually hard.
Hard, okay.
Because
just like most people.
Just like most people. And I was a huge meat eater.
Really?
I love my steak, but and then when I transitioned myself into vegan, I tried to find all of this same texture and then taste. And 5 years ago, it was really hard. You know, there's not so many options. So I get to learn how to cook again, because what I learned back in the days, it was mostly, you know, like chicken, fish, beef. So I got to learn to incorporate, you know, different kind of protein. But luckily, as an Indonesian, we use a lot of spices. And I think a lot of our food are not treating meat like how the Western people would do, you know.
It's not a big steak in the middle of your plate.
With pepper and salt.
Correct.
Yeah, with pepper and salt. So
difficult to replace.
So their diet centers around the meat itself, but for ours, it's all about the spices, the process. It's blended together, and some of people find like vegan food is much more tastier because the texture is more, you know, like just suitable for them more than meat for some people.
But you know, this is the interesting thing, because I used to be vegetarian for 2 years, around the time when you became vegan.
Okay.
From 2017 to 2018. And I love the fact that eating more fruits and vegetables and grains, it does make me feel lighter, especially when you're doing exercise. And just in general, you just feel a lot healthier as well. But then at one point, I stopped being vegetarian, which is a shame. It's because I find it difficult to maintain my weight. So I changed to flexitarian, with like mostly what I eat is still grains, vegetables, and fruits, but sometimes with the occasional fish or the occasional chicken, or very occasionally or very rarely beef. So could you please give us tips, like people like me who would like to maintain their weight, because it's very important for our health as well, but at the same time, just completely reducing, you know, consuming meat or animal protein?
Yeah, so first of all, I think you don't have to be ashamed of yourself. I think you tried, and I would say, I think it's not an easy transition for mostly everyone. So for me, I think when we think about a diet, we think about the food that we usually eat. So I think let's start with that, because you can just change everything, you know, like like, on one night, right? So for me, I think, so imagine a plate.
Yes.
Like half of the plate should be fruit and vegetables, which is already in our guideline, right? In the Indonesian Isi Piringku guideline, for a healthy diet.
Yeah.
And then like another 30% of that will be carbs, which you can find from
grains,
rice, and everything.
wheat.
And another 30% is actually the protein, which you can find from, of course, meat.
Yeah.
But also you can substitute with, legumes,
Yes.
tempe, tahu, alternative fish,
Lentils.
So there's so many options that we can find. Although maybe finding this option will be a little bit, you need to have a little bit more effort.
Yes.
And also the way you cook it will be a bit different.
Yeah.
But I think you need to just stick with that. We'll make things more easier. And also when you talk about, how you lose some weight, I think there's also the fact that most plant-based has lower calories.
Yes.
So I would...
You need to eat more, is that
you
it?
actually need to eat more sometime, which is a blast for some people.
Right.
And for me, it's always like an exciting thing, like what should I eat tomorrow? Because I can eat more while not, gaining more weight. But for some people, actually, it's the opposite, right? They actually gain weight because because I think you eat mostly, like vegetable, fruit, right? But some people eat most like
carbs,
and margarine, like processed food, which is not healthy. So I think I would like to highlight that being vegan, you can be healthy, but also not healthy, depending on what you eat.
Very good point, because I've for a couple of friends that started when this vegan trend started, mostly in Indonesia.
Yes.
I had a couple of friends who were actually in worse shape, not like physically, probably healthier on the inside. But I started noticing that's because they're eating everything. Oh, this is vegan pizza, so I can eat it. It's okay, but it's not. It's still calories. A calorie is still a calorie. And maybe a good point to add as well is that I have friends that are into sports. A gram of meat protein doesn't equal a gram of plant protein, correct? So it's okay to eat more of the plant protein because you do need more of it if you want to equate like a certain number of grams of protein per day. But I also agree that, like I'm like Marissa, I'm more than 50% vegetarian because I think a lot of my diet consists of vegetables and fruits. And I felt like personally, I started doing this about almost 7 years ago now.
Yes.
I feel a change. I feel it, me personally, I get sick less often.
Absolutely.
Without the COVID, I would have, somebody would have a cold in my house, I'd be the only one that didn't get it. And I'm sure nutrition has to do with it. Now, I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist, but I want to ask you, how did changing to vegan lifestyle change your life?
Plant-based diet.
Same with you. I think I barely got sick. Even during COVID, I think I was the one who probably the last person who got COVID. And it wasn't really that, it was mild.
Was that bad?
Yeah, it was just like a week and it's gone, So for me, I think it has changed the way I think about life in general. Nutrition and food is also, of course, it's like the first thing when you think about vegan diet, right? But I think it also kind of affect my other view on everything, like how I now, shop less at like every month. So it's kind of changed the way you think about many other things. And in terms of health, I think, I mean, like my body weight is kind of like
stable. Yes.
I think
True,
it's
that's another
because,
thing. You're
I think because I do exercise. But also a lot of people, because in my gym, to be specific, they keep asking, what do you actually eat? Don't you feel tired all the time because you're not eating meat? And they were surprised with my performance. Like, they couldn't keep up with me because I'm like so...
You're more energetic.
I'm more energetic than other people in the gym.
That's because your body's not busy digesting red meat you had 2 days ago, right? It's not tired.
Exactly. It's also amazing. An example would be my husband. And he's 57, right? And he's playing badminton at the moment. And he's the most fit out of the, like his colleagues at the badminton court that is probably like 20 years younger than him. It's because he's mostly plant-based, and then, your body just immediately feels a lot lighter.
And I want to ask you one more thing. There's this, I noticed there's this divide, and whenever you have a big trend or something that kind of picks up steam, there happens to always be a divide. Like, I'm a vegan and you're not. But you mentioned something earlier in our conversation to Marissa that it's okay, you don't have to be ashamed. It's great that you even tried to go for 2 years. Can you just tell us a little bit about how it's okay to be vegan sometimes? I've heard some people that just do it like 2 days a week and they feel great, but they don't do it all the time.
Of course.
Explain a little bit about how each community should just be more accepting about each other.
Yeah, it's being flexitarian.
Exactly.
Yeah, and less judgy.
Yeah, I think vegan has to be special. I mean, vegan has a very bad representation in the media because they often associated us with like being extremists.
Right.
And then like it's like one or nothing, you know, all or nothing.
Yeah.
But I think what's more important is actually that's why like for Jakarta Vegan Guide, we're not trying to make people to go vegan, but we want to promote the benefit of the plant-based lifestyle, how it is good for you, how it is for the environment. So I think a lot of people should be accepting on each other because a vegan diet is actually a good thing.
It is.
We're not promoting, you know, hate or, you know, violence, although maybe in some cases there are some kind of movement that is a little bit, you know,
Too extreme.
Too extreme, but in a way, I think for vegans, I would say the best way to inspire people to go vegan is by living an example.
Absolutely.
And living an example is like showing them how fun it is, how delicious it is. So the language is supposed to be something that really relates to many people, which is food, you know, one of the great example. When you talk about food, it doesn't matter what is it made from. If it is good, it is good, right?
People get passionate about good food.
Yes.
So, by the way, this great conversation has led me to crave for coffee. And we do have here Mad for Coffee. Would you like a caramel macchiato or a matcha latte? Okay.
No, the caramel macchiato.
There you go.
Ooh,
So
thank
tell
you
us
so
a
much.
little bit about
Dairy-free.
this. So this is all dairy-free.
Yep.
Should I shake it a little bit?
Yep.
I'm going to try a little bit. So explain to us, caramel macchiato, Mad for Coffee, dairy-free dose.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
So why dairy-free, right?
Yeah.
This one study that just published recently, last year actually, in Jakarta, showed that 60% of Indonesian are actually lactose intolerant. So,
And especially those who are Chinese descendants, like you and me, Paul.
Correct.
We're lactose intolerant as well.
I only found out about me having lactose intolerance after going vegan a few years because every time I drink milk back in the days, I always have that, you know, feeling
That you
of
need to go
going
to the
to
toilet.
right?
Exactly.
And I always blame the coffee, and I thought that was the coffee, and then it is actually the dairy that causes you, you know, all of the symptoms. So, the reason why we created this Mad for Coffee, we want to provide, you know, like alternative to like regular coffee with the same taste, the same price, with no dairy.
Yeah.
And
This one is what, cashew or oat?
this is oat.
Amazing taste.
Yeah,
no
I was
different.
gonna say it tastes great. By the way, it's not sweet, but it has that aroma to it, and it's like you wouldn't even know. In fact, it's better. I always tell people all the time. I do an intermittent fasting from time to time, and people at the gym saying they're like, "How can you drink black coffee and your stomach's okay?" I'm like, "Because I didn't put any dairy in it. I'm sure if I put some dairy in it, I'd probably feel the same thing. We normally feel the
This is amazing. So now replacement for dairy would be oat milk?
Oat milk, almond, cashew. In Indonesia, we have canary, and then coconut.
Yes.
So yeah, there are many alternatives to dairy that are in the market. In fact, if you go to one of the supermarket in Jakarta, you will find more alternative milk than dairy.
Yeah,
yes,
nowadays.
these days, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, especially with oat milk. And you know, with oat milk, I even make it myself, Herman.
Yeah.
It's by basically, you know, like blitzing or blending or mixing water and oat. And you can basically just sieve it through the sieve, and then you'll get oat milk. But the thing is that with me particularly, I don't sieve it, so I eat the oat as well, because it's very good for you, right?
Some extra protein there too.
Exactly. So there you go. You can make your own oat milk.
And if you want to know more and fun information like that, you can just check out www.jakartaveganguide.com. There's also a Facebook group under the same name, as well as Instagram at Jakarta Vegan Guide. Happy World Vegan Day.
Happy World Vegan Day, Paul and Marissa.
Thank you.
And thanks for the coffee. I really needed it, by the way. It's a quick pick-me-up. So I'm going to finish this during our next break. But when we return, we've got more updates and recaps for you from some world news when we return here on the C Morning Show. Stay with us.
This is so great, Finland.
Pagi lagi bersama saya Imam Darto di Ngonten ngobrolin tentang Nusantara. Langsung hap. Weh, jangan banyak-banyak, Neng. Santai aja, lapar situ. Orang Malang ya?
Iya, Malang.
Oh, Malang.
Arek ngalam.
Oke, bisa baca bahasa ngalam?
Bisa.
Coba.
Matur suwun.
Wah, cuma segitu saja.
Ya, dia MD. MD-nya ada panjangannya tuh.
Apa tuh? My Dream.
Longing for a short getaway where you can be away from people but still be productive?
You can! Come down here at Bidadari Island where you can learn a thing or two about the history.
This paradise island is more than just white sands and Tuscan blue waters.
You're not an outdoorsy type? Well, so am I. Don't be dismissive of the idea because
We're gonna get in touch with nature and hopefully have fun while at it. Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Hi, my name is Grace. Haven't you eaten since morning? Not yet.
Ada yang harus saya konsumsi nggak ya, Dok? Tarik nafas yang dalam.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
Welcome back to Theory of Everything. We will round out some of the biggest or craziest theories that have been circulating around the web and then stuck on your head, such as fan theories that audiences have about movies, shows, comics, or anything really. When the initial trailer for Doctor Strange 2, it was clear Wanda Maximoff held a prominent role in the film, though whether she'd play friend or foe to Benedict Cumberbatch lead remain in question.
Hello and a very good afternoon to all of you. And for the next few hours, we'll bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and around the world.
With more of a whisper than a resounding clang, Greece has shed another restriction dating back to its painful financial bailout.
Schools in Demak Regency in Central Java have become Taito Alba Owls conservationists. These barn owls are considered friends with farmers as they can help to prey on rats in rice fields.
Welcome back to the C Morning Show right here on C Today, and we'd like to say bonjour or good morning to all of you who just joined us right here on our C Today News. And of course, if you missed our earlier segment, we do have the recap, and we're going to begin with some world news. Rescuers continue to search for the victims of a deadly bridge collapse in the western Indian state of Gujarat on Monday. They scoured the dark waters for survivors, but were seen recovering number of bodies instead. At least 134 people died and many were injured when the cable suspension bridge over the Machu River collapsed on Sunday evening. Meanwhile, the state government said it had formed a special team to investigate the disaster. Authorities said the 19th century colonial era bridge collapsed because it could not handle the weight of the large crowd. The bridge had been closed for renovation for almost 6 months and had been reopened just days before the collapse. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is in his home state of Gujarat on a 3-day visit, said he was deeply saddened by the tragedy. His office announced compensation to the families of the one that passed and urged for speedy rescue efforts. And we're going to go into deep dive into another casualties that happened in South Korea, where a team of police officers and government forensic experts arrived in Seoul Itaewon neighborhood on Monday. They conduct a joint investigation in the area following a deadly crowd surge in which more than 150 people had died. South Korean police are investigating what caused the surge during Halloween festivities in Seoul over the weekend in the country's worst disasters in years. Police launched a 561-member task force to delve into details of the crush. Saturday's deadly crowd surge happened at a sloped, narrow alley in Itaewon, a popular nightlife district. They say the entire Itaewon area was extremely jammed with slow-moving vehicles and partygoers clad in Halloween costumes, making it impossible for rescuers and ambulances to reach the site in time. Now we're going to head over to one of the Southeast Asia region in the Philippines, where more than 100 people in the country have died in one of the most devastating storms to hit the country this year. Meanwhile, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. paid a visit to a number of affected areas, delivering relief supplies.
At least 105 people died in one of the most destructive storms to lash the Philippines this year, with dozens more feared missing after villagers fled in the wrong direction and got buried in a boulder-laden mudslide. Meanwhile, almost 2 million others were swamped by floods in several provinces. At least 53 victims who died, mostly in flash floods and landslides, were from Maguindanao province in the Muslim Autonomous Region, which was swamped by unusually heavy rains set off by tropical storm Nalgae. Meanwhile, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. inspected damages caused by storms in the Cavite province of the country on Monday. Aboard a helicopter, the president flew over flooded areas and battered properties. He later handed boxes of food and other relief supplies to storm victims in Novelita town, where some residents were trapped on roofs at the heights of flooding over the weekend.
Nagbago rito, hindi masyadong malakas ang hangin, pero maraming bumagsak na tubig at hindi na nakayanan ng ating mga flood control at lumampas na yung tubig doon sa mga dike, doon sa mga flood control natin.
The storm blew out into the South China Sea on Sunday, leaving a trail of destruction in a large swath of the archipelago. About 20 typhoons and storms batter the Philippine archipelago each year. It is located on the Ring of Fire, a region along most of the Pacific Ocean rim, where many volcanic eruptions and earthquakes occur, making the nation one of the world's most disaster-prone.
And we're going to take another short break. When we come back, we're going to have a special talk show about reinventing life from 30 Days of Lunch podcast with Ario Pratomo right here on the C Morning Show, only on C Today, so don't go anywhere.
What makes a new place feels like home, I always believe it's about the people and the community. I love the tomato sauce. This is what I always say, the dish of signature. And food often the best way to connect them all. Ooh, this one really good.
Restaurants, for me, is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on C Indonesia.
On football's greatest stage, the gods of the game have earned their encore. Pelé, Beckenbauer, Cruyff, Maradona. It's the cup of hope. The cup of dreams. It's football's biggest prize on the greatest stage of all.
Hey buddies, welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk with me, Paul Poelli. Let's say hello to Bibo and the Buds. Hey guys! Oh, this is your assistant, Trey.
Hi, my name is Poelli. For us, going like solo right now is like a refreshing.
I'm actually not good at acting because I'm too real.
Well, it's time for another Buddy Challenge. It's the only word I know.
Siapa sejak dini untuk masa depan. Arasnya sangat visi misi.
Visioner, bukan visi misi. Kalau visi misi, visi foya, misi foya, visi misi, foya, foya. Oh, digambar cakep, Sel.
Digambar ya lumayan.
Tapi
lumayan jelek.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
Hello and a very good afternoon to all of you. And for the next few hours, we'll bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and around the world.
With more of a whisper than a resounding clang, Greece has shed another restriction dating back to its painful financial bailout.
Schools in Demak Museum Central Java have become Taito Alba Owls conservationists. These barn owls are considered friends with farmers as they can help to prey on rats in rice fields.
Yes, you're back with us on the C Morning Show. Let's talk about digitalization of things. Now, Indonesia has 174.5 million internet users, and with new users growing at 3 times the global average, the online population is exploding. This boom has driven fresh demand for digital content and entertainment.
Definitely now, without a doubt, podcasts have become a new source of entertainment for Indonesians in the past 3 years. As more people tune in, and oftentimes something that's new and viral is very exciting to try.
Indeed. Now, this morning,
konten itu bukan cuma untuk diresapi, ditarik inspirasi, dan do nothing.
The popularity of podcasts started to increase in Indonesia around 2018 when Spotify expanded its content from merely offering music to also offering podcasts.
Satu doang gitu nih, bisa balik, cuman buat duduk sebentar terus ya udah.
In 2020, over 20% of Indonesian Spotify users listen to podcasts every month. And with the growing need for at-home entertainment during COVID-19, listening rates have only risen further. The audio-only format encourages the use of the listener's imagination in the same way literature does, bringing us into our theater of mind. Many of the most popular podcasts in Indonesia are focused on telling stories, such as Rintik Sendu, Podcast Mas, and Rapot. Horror stories are also a huge popular subgenre, including notable podcasts like Podcast Malam Kliwon and Do You See What I See?
Do You See What I See itu bisa dibilang setiap hari Halloween lah bagi kalian pecinta horor.
Last but not least, the sharing of life experience is another topic among top podcasts, with many popular podcasts stating that their aim is for the listener to feel less alone. There are Menjadi Manusia, Obrolan Babi Bu, and 30 Days of Lunch.
Kalau diterima, baru pelan-pelan bikin series yang originalnya.
Yes, podcast is definitely trending in the past few years, and this morning here in the studio we have one of the top Indonesian podcasters, Aryo Pratomo from 30 Days of Lunch podcast. Good morning, Aryo.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to meet you too.
Thanks for inviting me here.
Oh,
it's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Would you like to use our studio?
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, Aryo, so 30 Days of Lunch podcast, right? So please do tell us how it came about. I'm sure there's a big idea behind it and what sort of things that you want to share to the society and listeners.
All credit to my partner, Ruby. Basically, he initiated the idea to make a podcast, make actually a content that would last long, that would become a legacy, that would be useful for a lot of people. As simple as just a talk show.
Yes.
It started with that idea. We wanted to go to YouTube at the beginning, but you know, looking at this studio, creating something on YouTube with visuals, we need good cameras, we need aesthetics, we need, and even some interviewee who came to us feeling that there's camera on him, on them. It's a pressure, it's more pressure, a little bit more than just a microphone. So we started something light with something just audio. So we wanted to start with a theme that we were both in our late 30s.
Same age box as us.
Right. And then we wanted to share something things that we wish we knew when we were 20. Like investing in stocks, like investing in your mental health, mental awareness, like knowing things about your family, your background, those things. So we did. all credits to him, and then we started it. We kind of like complement each other because I already started podcast before with my wife a year before, and then I knew how the technicalities of podcast, which is a lot easier than adding a visual to it. And so yeah, it took off the first year pretty good, 4 years ago.
Wow, there you go.
I'm kind of curious, like, do you guys have any like background in the, you know, radio industry and whatnot, and broadcast industry? Because, you know, it's very difficult, right? Because you need to, this is somewhat just like you're listening to a radio station, but it has no music on it, you know, and it has no jingles and whatnot. It's just you guys are talking about a specific content and whatnot. So where did you get, and your wife, get the idea we should do like a podcast?
Because it's the easiest thing to do.
All right.
We don't have to think about, we don't have to learn anything because you actually can record it on your smartphone.
Right. Yeah. This is the real OG style.
This is the real OG style. Even my friend who created a monologue podcast created while driving with the background noise and everything. But still matters because the content itself is very valuable.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes people are more forgiving with the quality of the audio or the visual, but if the content really matters, they stay.
Yeah.
So we started with phones and stuff, and then we started to invest things in audio. We don't need that bigger studio with a lot of, you know, knots and buttons and stuff like that.
Right.
We just have a small recorder with a better microphone, better audio, headphones and stuff. So it's just, I don't have really a radio background. I did my time in radio just as guest.
Right.
You know, not real a presenter.
Yes.
I didn't take lessons about it. But it's just what matters is really the content.
There you go. You can jump into the wagon when you're, you know, you feel like you want to do something that you're passionate about and whatnot. And you know, as I see right now in recent years, people are just, especially Indonesian, right, Marisa? If something that is very trending, they want to do it. But it's not long lasting if you don't know how to do it. If you're not passionate about it, you just want to become one of the trends and whatnot. Now, 30 Days of Lunch, though, I've been here for 4 years. How did you get that consistency and also the commitment to where you have become right now?
Oh, it's not easy, to be honest. Because the third season is one of the examples that we are almost burned out. Because it was pandemic.
Right.
We couldn't meet with each other. The quality of audio we were good and then we were bad again because it's going through online. And then it's not as nice as meeting people face to face rather than you know, through screens. So the third season we split into, let's do it ourselves, let's choose a co-host and then collect it and then regroup again at the end. But it still works. It still works. We choose a different strategy and then now we're back to it. But the thing is at the beginning we started there's a reason why the name is 30 Days of Lunch. The number 30 is where we set our benchmark.
Right.
At least the worst thing is we do 30 episodes.
Right.
If it fails, that's it. We stop for the second season, no more.
Right.
But it worked. It still works. A lot of listeners, gaining listeners after 30 episodes. And we started to do second season, third and fourth season.
Yeah.
And the second thing is to try to make it evergreen. Content that is not just trending. Trending is okay, but what happens, we want that to be listened to a year after, 2 years after.
Timeless.
Timeless. Something related, very personal, very relatable to your mental, to your, conscious and stuff like that. So we can grab new listeners every day. People still relatable after several years.
Yeah, and speaking of content, your content is basically making content that nourishes the mind. Now,
I hope so.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like, why is it important for 30 Days of Lunch to make such content? I mean, it's like, what do you see in the society at the moment that makes you feel like, hey, guys, I think we need to do this, you know?
I see ourselves at the beginning that we're all struggling with a lot of things. We all still trying to find ourselves on a daily basis.
Oh, even until the day we die.
Yeah, it's never ending. So the good thing about this podcast is that for me personally, I get the first seat, the front row seat to meet these people, that inspiring people, those people that can change me the most. So it's not just our listeners getting the value, but I am getting the value first. I want to know what's relatable to me first. I don't know whether to call it selfish, but it actually, if it helps me, it should help a lot of people.
Yes.
So we talk a lot about even starting from content creating to relationships, to family constellation. We talk about human design. We talk about grief, anything that, because a person goes through a lot in their lives, through the ups and downs, all those
stages,
unbelievable things.
Yeah.
So I want that particular episode to match this particular moment of your life. So it did. So it did. So,
do you remember, probably top 3 is probably too much, maybe top 2 of the episodes and the guests that you invited that make you, wow, that was wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, a lot of financial talking in these days. But finance is not math. It's not just math, just science that you need to calculate and gain money from it. But there's a lot of psychology behind it.
Interesting.
So I talked to Coach Yuza about money psychology, relationships with money. One of the examples, one of the things that he told me that sticks in me up until now, that was season 3 last season. He told me that a baby during pregnancy, if the mother feels stressful, the baby can feel it. And it's stressful about money. For example, if the mother thinking about what to eat the next day, and then she has a baby in her stomach, in her belly, thinking that the stress comes to her. So whatever the mother feels from pregnancy until 4 years old, the baby feels, the kid feels. And then after that, the father figure plays part from 4 years old to about teenager. The way that the father always stays late for work, always thinks about money first, work first, then family second. It matters to the kid. For example, my own dad, my own father, leaves home about 6 a.m. every day. For me, that's how I think we should work, unconsciously. I copied what my father was doing. So those things, we learn about money psychologically.
That's amazing.
I mean, it's true. It's true how people become greedy, how people become stingy, frugal, all things related to what happens.
From the baby, oh, wow.
Yeah, because it goes past through, right?
Yeah,
it makes sense. Well, no, I'm definitely gonna listen to that with my husband. I'm gonna make him sit down and listen to it with me.
Baby, you need to be home at 5 p.m.
Yes, so we're gonna watch this together. We're gonna learn together. But again, there are so many, all the interviewees or the guests that you have, these are 80+ rock stars, prominent and influential people, and even, like you said, the underdogs, right? And this has also become the theme for your
season 4.
So it's like 120 episodes now. You guys are going through 112. So it's been a lot, right? So what can we expect, especially from underdog now?
Underdogs are the people who you never see sometimes, even you never know before.
Yes.
But it gives you values that will stay longer than you think. We had Dedi Vansopi, latest episode. We're talking about his book. He's talking about kindness. That kindness is supposed to be normal. You don't see someone, a parent so kind to its children is something special that has to go on social media. It's just the way parents are. We want to give. We want to give the best to the children. And that's normal. So we want to say that kindness is supposed to be normal in so many ways, rather than just to show it, to flex it on social media.
I love that, flex it. Yeah, I mean, it's a part of us, right? And then sometimes we just forget because we're seeing in social media a lot of quotes about kindness. And sometimes we realize, do we really need to be reminded that much? Actually, we're born with it. This has to be with us.
Agreed.
And who else is going to be in the 4th season?
I see the last 2 episodes are gaining tractions a lot because of before Dedi, we were talking to Henry Manampiring.
About stoicism?
About stoicism.
Oh my gosh, of course.
We asked the question that we become the devil's advocate.
Good.
That we challenge stoicism. It means that you don't care about others, those things. It's not that. He explained it very well in the episode. And he's not that underdog, but he is to a lot more people. A lot more people should know him, should know his book, should know stoicism better.
Of course. And it's like if we see it in the bigger landscape of podcasts, I love podcasts like
Yeah.
yours, right? And it's like I've been listening to podcasts like yours. Well, back then it's actually a YouTube channel. I wonder if you're familiar with The School of Life
Yeah.
by Alain de Botton,
Yeah.
that philosopher from the UK. There's this one sentence that always comes in my mind. It's like, hey, if you want to make quality content, you won't get as many tractions as the popular, sensational, crazy content. So what is the landscape now, about 6 years later? Is it a little bit more optimistic? I mean, when competing with more sensational contents, right?
Ooh, I'm not the expert on this.
Right.
But I listened to Gary Vee as well. Gary told me, even in our podcast, he told me that when should I asked him, when should I make content a podcast that, I want to know to get the numbers more? Should I make anything demi content?
Yes.
And stuff like that. And sensational, viral. But he said that if you start being unhappy on making your content, then you should stop doing your content. So my barometer is happiness. If I'm still happy doing this, I hope I'm not happy doing virality and all this controversial stuff. But so far, I'm still happy doing this. And the biggest reason I'm happy is because every time we get these feedback, the personal feedback, not the numbers, but the DMs, the comments, it changed my life. I'm beginning to know about this. I'm learning this. Like season 1, we talked about remote working. And suddenly, pandemic hits.
Oh my!
And suddenly, work from home. We didn't know anything about it, but we already have the mindset of remote working. You should be working an office, a house, even a cafe.
A villa, whatever. Yeah, wherever.
It's your mentality of how you work. It's not where.
Yeah.
So, and we talk about a lot of things. We talk about blockchain before it was like hitting all-time high and stuff like that. So I see the impact still there. So I won't stop making it. So
fantastic.
And it seems like you guys can see the future, with the content and whatnot. Now, speaking about the future, how do you foresee the creative digital industry, especially right here in Indonesia? And what's next for 30 Days of Lunch?
We play season by season.
Okay.
30 episodes per 30 episodes. I hope we finish every 30 episodes. We want to be able to, I want to connect more people. I want to get touch to, the reason why we're still doing the podcast in Bahasa Indonesia is because we need to reach Indonesian more. Because basically, Jakarta speaks a lot good English, but all out there,
of course,
they could be challenging. We want to connect them to them more. We want to bridge this people that cannot be reached, unreachable people, to them. We bring it to them. We still keep doing it. We're still gonna go with. I hope we have more hosts, not just me and Ruby. I hope we have this to be a movement to connect people, stuff like that.
And you should have Marissa as the guest host because, by the way, not just because I'm friends with her for more than 5 years, but she's the one that introduced me with Stoicism. She's the one who has like the most peaceful and like one of the kindest person that I ever met. Like her soul. You should dig deep to her soul right there, by the way.
No, it's trying.
Thank you. Okay, you're so kind. You see, it's like kindness should be mainstream, right? Thank you, Kay. And also thank you, Aryo Pratomo. I mean, it's like keep inspiring with all of your content.
Thank you.
We are loyal listeners, and hopefully your listeners will grow more and more and more. Because I really do believe that, people who, if we have a society that is less angry, more thoughtful, they will make better decisions for themselves and for society. So hopefully this is going to be one of the movements that we can create.
Cleansing the soul with 30 Days of Lunch.
Exactly. There you go. Nice. And now we're going to take a little break. When we come back, we'll bring you a recap of the news stories from around the globe. Stay with us. Thank you so much.
Pagi bersama saya Imam Darto di Ngonten ngobrolin tentang Nusantara. Hap. Wih, jangan banyak-banyak, Neng. Santai aja, lapar situ. Orang Malang ya?
Iya, Malang.
Oh, Malang.
Arek ngalam.
Oke, bisa baca bahasa ngalam?
Bisa.
Coba.
Matur suwun.
Wah, cuma segitu saja.
Ya, dia MD. MD-nya ada panjangannya tuh.
Apa tuh?
My Dream.
Longing for a short getaway where you can be away from people but still be productive?
You can! Come down here at Bidadari Island where you can learn a thing or two about the history.
This paradise island is more than just white sands and Tuscan blue waters.
You're not an outdoorsy type? Well, so am I. Don't be dismissive of the idea because
we're gonna get in touch with nature and hopefully have fun while at it. See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Hi, my name is Grace.
Haven't you eaten since morning?
Not yet. Ada yang harus saya konsumsi nggak ya, Dok? Tarik nafas yang dalam.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
Welcome back to Theory of Everything. We will round out some of the biggest or craziest theories that have been circulating around the web and then stuck on your head, such as fan theories that audiences have about movies, shows, comics, or anything really. When the initial trailer for Doctor Strange 2, it was clear Wanda Maximoff held a prominent role in the film, though whether she'd play friend or foe to Benedict Cumberbatch lead remain in question.
Hello and a very good afternoon to all of you. And for the next few hours, we'll bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and around the world.
With more of a whisper than a resounding clang, Greece has shed another restriction dating back to its painful financial bailout.
Schools in Demak Regency in Central Java have become Thai-toe alba owls conservationists. These barn owls are considered friends with farmers as they can help to prey on rats in rice fields.
You're back with us on the C Morning Show, and here are some of the top stories. The first one, on Monday, Indonesian architect Andra Matin received the Aga Khan Award for Architecture 2022 in Muscat, Oman. In his speech, he reiterated the achievement by another Indonesian architect 30 years ago. Andra Matin received the award alongside Banyuwangi Regent Ipu Fistiandani Anas and former Banyuwangi Regent Azwar Anas. They were awarded for the design of Banyuwangi International Airport. Arising from a sea of paddy fields, the airport blends with the natural landscape, and it was inspired by the traditional houses of the local indigenous people, Osing. The appreciation reclaims a similar award given to Indonesian architects Yebe Mangun Wijaya, who designed the housing complex of Kalijodo, Yogyakarta in 1992. And in 1995, Indonesia's Soekarno-Hatta International Airport. The designer also received an award, and it was designed by the French architect Paul Andro. The Tourism and Creative Economy Minister Sandiaga Uno said recently that he will not issue a permit to event organizers that fail to comply with the safety measures set by the government. Uno has instructed the Deputy of Tourism Products and Event Organizer to promote the standards for clean, healthy, safe, and sustainable services.
Terjadi insiden overcapacity dalam konser berdendang bergoyang. Dan kapasitas maksimal mencapai 10.000 penonton, tapi di lapangan dihitung lebih dari 21.000 penonton. Oleh karena itu saya sudah menugaskan Ibu Rizky Handayani melakukan evaluasi dan memberikan sosialisasi kepada pelaku event untuk betul-betul mematuhi carrying capacity, early warning system, dan ketersediaan jalur evakuasi.
Indonesia is preparing for its general election in 2024, and thus the Election Supervisory Agency, or Bawaslu, recently launched an online reporting system, Sigap Lapor. The app will allow residents to report any violation during the general election in the easiest possible way. The launching event was attended by a number of stakeholders, including Home Affairs Ministry, House of Representatives, and political parties. Sigap Lapor provides an easy access to reporting and boasts document digitalization. The features are expected to facilitate data management in handling the violations. Meanwhile, Bawaslu will still be receiving direct reports.
Dengan ada aplikasi ini tidak menutup pintu bagi masyarakat yang ingin melaporkan langsung. Iya, apalagi tadi banyak bilang ini kan wifi-nya nggak ada, ini apalagi pulsa harus naik pohon dulu baru bisa lapor, kan jadi masalah juga. Silakan menghubungi kantor Panwaslu.
The investigation into Brigadier Yoshua's death continued on Monday with 12 witnesses, including Sambo's house helper, attending the court to testify. Meanwhile, Richard Eliezer's lawyer, Roni Talapesi, said the housemate's testimony has incriminated Yoshua.
Defendant Richard Eliezer underwent a trial on Monday in Brigadier Yoshua's premeditated murder case. Some 12 witnesses were seen attending the court to testify, and one of them is Ferdi Sambo's house helper, Susi.
Berarti saudara Richard melihat nggak, terdakwa ini melihat nggak pada saat Joshua mengangkat tubuh PC? Pertanyaan saya, apakah terdakwa melihat saudara Joshua mengangkat tubuh putri? Melihat tidak, pertanyaan saya.
The panel of judges warned Susi not to make false statement under oath, as she may have committed the crime of perjury and can be prosecuted.
Ada kecurigaan mungkin kenapa Susi kayak gini Bang, karena kan tadi juga.
Ya tadi sudah digali kan sama majelis hakim, sampai majelis hakim berulang-ulang bahwa jangan sampai memberikan keterangan palsu kan. Gitu, makanya kami minta supaya ini diproses gitu. Ini tidak boleh melecehkan peradilan seperti ini.
Brigadier Yoshua was murdered on July the 8th at the house of former Police Internal Affairs Chief Ferdi Sambo in Duren 3, South Jakarta. Reski Anasto, Andre Saputra for See Today.
We still have more news coming up after the break.
Siapa sejak dini untuk masa depan. Aras ini sangat visi misi.
Visioner, bukan visi misi. Kalau visi misi, visi foya, misi foya, visi misi, foya, foya. Oh, digambar cakep, Sel.
Digambar ya lumayan.
Tapi
lumayan jelek.
On football's greatest stage, the gods of the game have earned their encore. Pelé, Beckenbauer, Cruyff, Maradona. It's the cup of hope. The cup of dreams. It's football's biggest prize on the greatest stage of all.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
What makes a new place feels like home, I always believe it's about the people and the community.
I love the tomato sauce. This is what I always say, the dish of signature.
And food often the best way to connect them all.
Ooh, this one really good. Restaurants, for me, is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on See Indonesia.
Hello and a very good good afternoon to all of you. And for the next few hours, we'll bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and around the world.
With more of a whisper than a resounding clang, Greece has shed another restriction dating back to its painful financial bailout.
Schools in Demak Regency in Central Java have become Taito Alba owls conservationists. These barn owls are considered friends with farmers as they can help to prey on rats in rice fields.
Hey buddies, welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk with me, Paul Palelli.
Let's say hello to Bebo and the Buds.
Hey guys!
Oh, this is your assistant, Trey.
Hi, my name is Paul.
For us, going like solo right now is like a refreshing.
I'm actually not good at acting because I'm too real.
Well, it's time for another Buddy Challenge. It's the only word I know.
Welcome back to the C Morning Show right here on C Today. It is around 8:30 a.m. I think it's the right time for us to talk about breakfast. So one breakfast or one dish that I want to share with you is a Betawi dish that you cannot pass on. It's called kerak telur. So this dish is made from glutinous rice mixed with dug eggs and is a pride of Jakarta and is always offered in a Betawi cultural celebration.
In every celebration related to Betawi culture, we will often find kerak telur vendors. This Betawi specialty dish, made from glutinous rice and eggs, mixed with grated coconuts, dried shrimps, and fried shallots, is still cooked traditionally, baked using a glazed stove and charcoals. What's special about this dish is the original taste of kerak telur, which continue to be preserved by the cooking expertise of the sellers and the recipe passed down from their families. Roy, a kerak telur seller, has been selling this dish since 2014 and is the fourth generation of kerak telur seller in his family. Not only that, he is also currently involved in preserving Pitung's House, a cultural tourist destination located in Marunda area of North Jakarta.
Kita dari 2014, saya masuk generasi keempat dari keluarga. Saya usaha juga melestarikan juga. Kebetulan saya juga aktif di pelestarian budaya di Rumah Pitung, yaitu saya di bidang kulinernya.
Roy also believes there will always be interest in kerak telur, even if it's promoted through word of mouth.
Alhamdulillah luar biasa sekali ya, dari anak-anak sampai yang dewasa gitu. Bahkan orang tua yang sudah kenal itu dia berusaha mengenalkan nama anak-anaknya gitu. Bahwa ini kerak telur loh, makanan Jakarta yang memang sudah orang banyak tahu gitu.
Jadi masih cukup digandrungi Bang?
Iya, masih cukup digandrungin.
Meanwhile, one resident admitted to really enjoy kerak telur, especially with a savory taste of the glutinous rice mixed with eggs.
Emang udah sering atau seperti apa, Mbak?
Saya, ya kalau makan kerak telur itu, kalau lagi ada momen-momen kayak begini, biasanya gampang. Kalau nggak kayak begini, nggak dekat di rumah adanya kerak telur. Jadi mumpung ada begini, saya mampir beli.
Jadi agak susah ya akhir-akhir ini kalau mendapatkan untuk beli kerak telur ya?
Iya, adanya biasanya di sentra-sentra kuliner Betawi kan.
The price of kerak telur varies between 25,000 to 30,000 rupiah, depending on the occasion and the ingredients used. C2D contributor reporting from Jakarta.
All right, so I'm going to share you a little secret. My favorite kerak telur that I kerak telur
Kerak telur, there you go. That's the right way to say it. Where I get is from one of the local graveyard right here in central Jakarta because it's so good. I don't know why, but like you can choose the duck eggs or the chicken eggs. But then again, whenever that I pay my respect and love to my family that had passed, I always get the kerak telur. I don't know why that one is very delicious. Anyways, let's talk more about food. And next up is martabak. So whether you like it savory or sweet, you know, this is a very legendary snack that is very quite popular and also a favorite for many. Now, what if martabak though is made like a pizza? Well, in Pangkal Pinang, two youngsters made an innovation from martabak, turning it into something similar to the Italian food pizza, rich with toppings, and this dish is called martabak pizza. Let's check it out.
Martabak Bangka is identical with sweet martabak, or known as sweet pancake, which mostly consists of toppings like chocolate, cheese, peanuts, and sesame. But in the hands of two youngsters from Pangkal Pinang, Bangka Belitung, the martabak is made like an Italian dish pizza. So it's no surprise that this special dish is called martabak pizza.
Sebenarnya sih sama bang, cuman yang membedakannya dia potongannya kayak pizza, cuman yang orang senengnya kan dia bervarian rasa nih. Biasa kita martabak biasanya paling setengah-setengah atau dicampur. Kalau ini kan dia banyak pilihannya, pilihan toppingnya bisa bervarian. Nah, jadi yang lebih dominannya anak-anak milenial yang paling senangnya. Nah, terutama buat kue ulang tahun.
The process of making this dish is no different than the usual martabak. The mixed batter is poured into a pan to be heated. Wait for several minutes until the texture expands and bubbles. When the batter is cooked, sprinkle some sugar and spread some butter. Leave it for a while until the sugar and butter are absorbed. Next, cut the martabak into 8 slices, just like a pan pizza, and put it on a box and pour milk over the dessert. Prepare toppings like chocolate, cheese, mashed Oreos, chocolate sprinkles, peanuts, green tea, and many more. After that, pour the toppings on each slice and pour some condensed milk, wrap it, and then the martabak is ready to be served. This one dish is perfect to be snacked on at night while hanging out with friends or loved ones. The portion is quite big, which the martabak pizza can be enjoyed together with other people. With a taste so delicious, it surely can awaken your palate.
Martabak pizza Makopapi enak, adonannya fluffy, rasanya manis tapi nggak enek, enak, wajib dicoba. Rasanya enak, adonannya lembut, nggak bikin enek, terus harganya terjangkau. Banyak pilihan toppingnya, berbagai macam.
The price of this martabak pizza starts from 37,000 rupiah to 78,000 rupiah per portion, depending on the topping request from the consumers. If you're curious about this innovative martabak, you can visit Martabak Markopapi, located at Ahmad Yani Street, Pangkal Pinang, from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. See Today contributor reporting from Pangkal Pinang, Bangka Belitung.
Martabak is really the best late night snack. Don't you agree, Nadia, our floor director? Yeah, she's like smiling right now. But we're on a diet, guys. Oh, we're having a healthy, conscious life right now. By the way, on a cheat day, why not have a martabak? But if you want something different, something delicious, cheap, and most importantly, can be enjoyed with your friends and family, then you have to get this one. The mainstay menu of Mapa Noodle Restaurant at Kelapa Gading, North Jakarta may be an interesting alternative just for you. Its name is Penyet Keroyokan. It's very unique because not only the proportion are large with various kind of side dishes in it, the sauce can also be adjusted to the taste of the customers. Let's check it out.
Fried chunks of beef, shrimp, tofu, tempeh, fried meatballs, fried chicken, eggs, plus fresh vegetables and chili sauce served in a large tray and certainly very appetizing to enjoy with friends and family. Penyet keroyokan is indeed becoming a favorite menu for customers because in addition to complete side dishes and chili sauce that is considered to suit their taste, penyet keroyokan also available in affordable prices, only 97,000 rupiah. As the name suggests, this menu can be enjoyed by many people, aka keroyokan, because of its large portions.
Ini kita lagi makan siang Kak, sama rekan kerja. Kebetulan habis kerja break lunch. Ini kebetulan ada outlet baru ya dari Surabaya, baru opening. Kita pengen coba juga untuk makanannya. Ini untuk yang kita pesen, kita ada tadi tawarin sih ada penyet keroyokan, ini juga baru tahu. Ada porsi yang wow, jumbo juga, enak banget, sambalnya best. Buat sharing-sharing ini cocok banget.
Isi menu di penyet keroyokan ini apa aja Mas?
Tadi kita ada ini sih, kita lihat ada udang ini, udang penyet, ayam, bakwan, empal, tahu tempe dan telur.
Ini baru pertama kali ngerasain namanya keroyokan.
Baru pertama kali ngerasain penyet keroyokan, ini mie mapan. Rasanya best banget.
Special menu offered by Mapan Noodle Restaurant located on Boulevard Raya Street, Kelapa Gading North, Jakarta. And it will be more special if accompanied by a glass of ice grass jelly, which also has various flavors. They have ice grass jelly milk, ice grass jelly palm sugar, and ice grass jelly brown sugar. In addition, if you buy penyet keroyokan to take home or delivery, customers will get special bonus. In addition to penyet keroyokan, Mapan Noodles also offers a variety of noodle menus, including sweet and sour katsu noodles, cow tripe noodles, mussel noodles, and veggie noodles. If interested, you can directly visit the Mapan Noodle Restaurant spread across the number of areas of Java Island, such as Surabaya, Sidoarjo, Kediri, Gresik, Malang, to Bali. As for Jakarta itself, there is only one Mapan Noodle in the Kelapa Gading area. See Today contributor reporting from Jakarta.
And so the big question is, what will you be having today? Would it be kerak telur or egg crust ala Betawi, or you would want some martabak, or that's a savory or a sweet pancake ala Indonesia, or some noodles? Why not all three? YOLO, everyone, right? All right, so we're going to take a quick break right now, but when we return, Paul Palella will return. Come back here again in the studio with the recap from the world of sports, so stay tuned. I'm hungry.
Pagi bersama saya Imam Darto di Ngonten ngobrolin tentang Nusantara. Hap, hap. Wih, jangan banyak-banyak, Neng. Santai aja, lapar situ. Orang Malang ya?
Iya, Malang.
Oh, Malang.
Arek ngalam.
Oke, bisa baca bahasa ngalam?
Bisa.
Coba.
Matur suwun.
Wah, cuma segitu saja.
Ya, dia MD.
Mana dia MD?
MD-nya ada panjangannya tuh.
Apa tuh?
My Dream.
Longing for a short getaway where you can be away from people but still be productive?
You can! Come down here at Bidadari Island where you can learn a thing or two about the history.
This paradise island is more than just white sands and Tuscan blue waters.
You're not an outdoorsy type? Well, so am I. Don't be dismissive of the idea because
We're gonna get in touch with nature and hopefully have fun while at it. See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Hi, my name is Grace.
Haven't you eaten since morning?
Not yet.
konsumsi nggak ya dok? Tarik nafas yang dalam.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
Welcome back to Theory of Everything. We will round out some of the biggest or craziest theories that have been circulating around the web and then stuck on your head, such as fan theories that audiences have about movies, shows, comics, or anything really. When the initial trailer for Doctor Strange 2, it was clear Wanda Maximoff held a prominent role in the film, though whether she'd play friend or foe to Benedict Cumberbatch lead remain in question.
Hello and a very good afternoon to all of you. And for the next few hours, we'll bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and around the world.
With more of a whisper than a resounding clang, Greece has shed another restriction dating back to its painful financial bailout.
Schools in Demak regions in Central Java have become Thai-Toe Alba owls conservationists. These barn owls are considered friends with farmers as they can help to prey on rats in rice fields.
Welcome back to the C Morning Show, everyone. It's time for a quick sports recap, starting with some tennis updates. Number 16-seeded American Frances Tiafoe has reached the second round of the Paris Masters by defeating Italian qualifier Lorenzo Sonego 6-4 and 6-4 at the Accor Arena on Monday. Tiafoe has so far enjoyed a breakthrough season with a run to the U.S. Open semifinal and the subsequent Tokyo final that has now placed him in the top 20. Let's move on to some football updates now, as France midfielder Paul Pogba will miss the World Cup due to ongoing knee issues. Pogba returned to training with Juventus only this month, following surgery on his right knee in early September. Let's move on to some cricket news. The ICC Men's T20 World Cup host Australia has defeated Ireland by 42 runs at the Brisbane Cricket Grounds on Monday to claw back some of their net run rate deficit in Super 12 Group 1, and also in doing so, keeping their hopes of progression alive in the semifinals. And let's move on now to some basketball news. The Indonesian women's national basketball team has won the inaugural edition of the 2022 Sea Women's Basketball League. The Indonesian elite defeated Thailand 2-1 on aggregate in the final round. The victory will also give a good opportunity for the squad to prepare for the upcoming 2023 SEA Games. The Indonesians won silver in the prior edition of the Southeast Asian major multi-sporting event. We're going to keep it here for some more basketball news. This time, we're going to shift our focus over to the NBA, where the Dallas Mavericks rebounded from a collapse one night earlier by defeating the Orlando Magic 114-105 on Sunday night. Luka Doncic has now scored 30 or more points in each of the first 6 games, the first player to do so since Michael Jordan in 1986. This also marks his second 40-point game over the past 3 games. He also finished a very efficient 17 of 26 from the field and also notched 5 assists along with 3 rebounds. Speaking of winning, the Lakers are finally in the win column as they defeated the Denver Nuggets 121-110. LeBron James led the way for the Lakers with 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists, while Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook added a combined 41 points in this win. Let's check out the highlights.
And LeBron, unencumbered, just comes in and takes it. Nobody guarding LeBron.
LeBron James scored 26 points and Anthony Davis added 23 to help the Los Angeles Lakers to their first win of the season with a 121-110 over the Denver Nuggets on Sunday night. Russell Westbrook had 18 points for the Lakers, who had lost their first 5 games of the season under first-year head coach Darvin Ham. Los Angeles was the last winless team in the NBA. Meanwhile, Nikola Jokic scored 23 points and Jamal Murray added a season-high 21 for the Nuggets, who had 4 of their last 5 and 2 straight games before Sunday's loss.
Caldwell Pope. Oh, and Jeff Green turns back the clock.
The Lakers made 13 three-pointers on 13 for 30 shooting after struggling with long-range shots this season in their previous 5 games. The Nuggets made 15 three-pointers. Davis was aggressive early after missing one game with lower back tightness and was questionable Sunday but played.
And he throws up a tough shot and buries the triple.
Well, as Laker Nation can finally breathe a sigh of relief, it's time for us to also announce to you, as well as replay, our MVP or most valuable play as selected by you. We head back to Dallas, where the Mavericks notched an important win coming off a heavy back-to-back. Having played in overtime the previous period, this time Luka Doncic comes up with more Luka magic as he sends it up high to Maxi Kleber, coming down the lane and throwing it down with both hands. Dallas Mavericks asserted themselves early in this one and were able to come away with the big win. And that is your highlight of the day, Luka Doncic and Maxi Kleber. Please do continue to take part in our daily selection of MVP or most valuable play by first following our social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at CToday News. There we will show you 2 candidates in our earlier sports segment, which you can vote on, and we will tally up your votes and announce and replay the winner in our sports recap. And that does it for sports for now. It's time for us to take our final break of the program, but don't go anywhere. When we return, we've got your daily dose of entertainment news coming up next.
Siapa sejak dini untuk masa depan. Aras ini sangat visi misi.
Visioner, bukan visi misi. Kalau visi misi, visi foya, misi foya, visi misi, foya, foya. Oh, digambar cakep, Sel.
Digambar ya lumayan.
Tapi lumayan jelek.
On football's greatest stage, the gods of the game have earned their encore. Pelé, Beckenbauer, Cruyff, Maradona. It's the cup of hope. The cup of dreams. It's football's biggest prize on the greatest stage of all.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan, ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
What makes a new place feels like home? I always believe it's about the people and the community. I love the tomato sauce. This is what I always say, the dish of signature. And food often the best way to connect them all. Ooh, this one really good. Restaurants for me is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on Sea Indonesia.
Hello and a very good afternoon to all of you. And for the next few hours, we'll bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and around the world.
With more of a whisper than a resounding clang, Greece has shed another restriction dating back to its painful financial bailout.
Schools in Demak Regency in Central Java have become Thai-toe alba owls conservationists. These barn owls are considered friends with farmers as they can help to prey on rats in rice fields.
Apalagi bersama saya Imam Darto di Ngonten ngobrolin tentang Nusantara. Hap, hap. Wih, gak banyak-banyak, Neng. Santai aja, lapar situ. Orang Malang ya?
Iya, Malang.
Oh, Malang.
Arek ngalam.
Oke, bisa baca bahasa ngalam?
Bisa.
Coba.
Matur suwun.
Wah, cuma segitu saja.
Ya, dia MD. MD-nya ada panjangannya tuh.
Apa tuh?
My Dream.
Welcome back to the CU Morning Show for some entertainment news. And Caroline touched on this a little bit in our earlier segment where singer and actor Lee Ji-han was among the 153 who died in the Itaewon stampede in Seoul, South Korea.
Yes, Ji-han was a rising star in the Korean entertainment industry, having competed in the second season of the Korean singing competition Produce 101.
K-pop singer and actor Lee Ji-han was one of the victims killed in the Seoul Halloween crowd crush on Saturday night, October the 29th, which has claimed the lives of over 150 people. The crowd surge was concentrated in a sloped, narrow alley in Seoul's Itaewon neighborhood, a popular nightlife district with witnesses and survivors recalling a hell-like chaos of people falling on each other like dominoes. A statement from the two agencies that represented Lee paid tribute to the 24-year-old star, saying he was a bright and genuine person who always smiled and greeted people with care. Ji-han became famous on the South Korean TV talent show Produce 101 before successfully moving into acting. Late actor Lee Ji-han was filming the MBC's upcoming fantasy romance drama series. He was casted as the ex-boyfriend of a female lead, and he filmed his part last month. The drama series is set to premiere in January 2023. The late Lee Ji-han's memorial will be set up at the funeral hall of Myeongji Hospital, and the funeral will be held on November the 1st.
So yeah, that was very, I mean, he did pretty well in the competition.
Yeah.
The Produce 101 is like 101 contestants.
Okay.
Where they try to whittle it down. They keep eliminating people until they finally have an 11-member band who they're going to produce as a K-pop band.
Yeah.
He actually made it through all the way to the 5th round as well. He did pretty
Right.
well, but even though he got eliminated, he then created a pretty good, started carving out an acting career for himself. So obviously taken at 24 years old, much like many of the other victims there, gone way too soon.
Yeah, right. Too soon. Yeah, so our heart and prayers are for all those who had passed away during this tragedy in South Korea. Now into our next piece of news, where the annual Casamigos Halloween party is, still talking about Halloween, is the busiest event of the year in Hollywood and the most coveted invitation to score.
The event was hosted on Friday night, which was October the 28th, by Casamigos co-founders Randy Gerber, George Clooney, and Mike Meldman at a private home in Beverly Hills.
Hey, Randy Gerber. Hey, that's Cindy Crawford's husband.
Oh, that's what sounds familiar.
The Gerbers, yes, of course. Yes, this legendary bash attracted a long list of celebrities and Hollywood tycoons. So let's have a look.
E.T.
Take a look at E.T.
A slew of celebrities turned out for a Halloween party hosted by Casamigos at a private residence in Beverly Hills on Friday, October 28, officially kicking off the costume festivities for the weekend. Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox stole the show as they arrived for the party, dressed as Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. They were joined by Wild West versions of Cindy Crawford and Randy Gerber, as well as Tyga in full head mask as E.T. Robel Wilson, Ramona Agrumo, Jacob Andrew, Marisa Montgomery, and Curly Steele also brought some glamour dressed as Barbie dolls still packaged in their boxes. Never one to miss a party, Paris Hilton arrived as Sailor Moon. Casamigos was founded by George Clooney, Randy Gerber, and Mike Meldman. It was sold to Diageo, an alcoholic beverage company, for $1 billion in 2017.
They went full on with the whole thing, huh?
Did you guys do any Halloween-y dress-up things?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
My daughter did.
Yes, that's
Princess Jasmine. I finally have a daughter, guys.
Yeah, you dress her up as a princess.
I know, finally.
Yeah.
But I would want to be E.T. Even like the hand, the finger lights up.
Yeah.
E.T. going
Staring
home.
right at it. It's so real. Not that E.T. is real, by the way. I'm just saying, it looks a lot like E.T. Great costumes, by the way.
I know.
I normally have a gig, so I normally dress up for Halloween,
Okay.
but I didn't this year. It didn't exactly fall on Halloween. It's weird. It's how it came on a
Right.
Sunday.
Yes.
But we did go to a Halloween party. It was my kid's friend's birthday party.
Yes.
So I could not think of anything that I could go as a family of 5 with two daughters and a son, except for The Simpsons. Somebody else suggested that, but I couldn't figure out how to do the yellow heads, and my wife's hair would have been like 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
So we decided to go, how about if we go as Modern Family? But then my kids weren't really the right age. So we just dressed up the kids. I just went in street clothes.
So cute.
Yeah, I was thinking to be like family. I think I would do the bedsheet cover. I like that. I saw that a couple of times where they're trying to be like ghosts and whatnot. Like a party of 5, that's right.
Yeah.
What would I be? I don't know.
Be Party of 5, like the Party of 5, the series.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, perfect.
Thank you, Marissa.
Hey, for next year. Anyway, on that note, we're out of time here, but thank you so much. It's been 3 hours since you've joined us and welcomed us into your homes. We hope that you found our show fun, insightful, as well as entertaining. Make sure you're also following us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at See Today News.
Yes, and as you continue on with your day, please remember to continue observing health protocols. Visit your closest healthcare facilities to get vaccinated if you haven't done so.
And in case if you missed it, we're also now available on Foxtel Flash Australia, Macau Cable TV Channel 84, Vision Philippines Channel 58, and Singapore on Singtel Channel 15 and StarHub Channel 720. All right, guys. See you in Indonesia. See the world. See today. Adios.
Bye.